Chapter 41. Someone stopped the wood dragon. Ever since the first Hokage, Senju Hashirama, passed away, the wood-release Kekkai Genkai had become a legend within Konoha, and it was hard for everyone to imagine the power of wood release. As the primitive forest grew dense, as the colossal wooden dragon spiraled above the forest, the people of Konoha finally recalled the legend of the first Hokage. The first Hokage, Senju Hashirama, used the power would release to defeat Uchiha Madara and united numerous ninja clans to establish the most prosperous ninja village, thus ending the constantly warring states period. Would release, how could it be so powerful? A member of the Uchiha clan finally couldn't suppress his inner fear, tremblingly said, "Did the first Hokage defeat our ancestors using this technique? How did they ever contend with the first Hokage?" Uchiha Fugaku remained silent without speaking. As the leader of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Fugaku knew many secrets and also knew the power of the Uchiha clan's Kekkai Genkai, the Sharingan. Itachi. Uchiha Izumi looked at the wooden dragon in the examination arena with a face full of panic. The 10-year-old Uchiha Izumi had experienced the Nine Tails attack on Konoha and had seen those massive creatures' terror. This wooden dragon was even big enough to rival the Nine Tails. Uchiha Shirsue's eyes also showed concern. No one in Konoha understood Uchiha Itachi's strength better than Uchiha Shirsue. Even though Uchiha Shirsue had taught Uchiha Itachi some powerful techniques, with such a huge gap, it was hard to reverse the situation of defeat. Is this the power of wood release? Hatake Kakashi couldn't believe what he was seeing. Since the end of the Nine Tails attack, Hatake Kakashi thought there wouldn't be much in the ninja world that could stir his emotions anymore. However, after seeing the colossal wooden dragon, a wave of emotion finally stirred in his heart. Hatake Kakashi, while researching, had found a document mentioning that wood release was powerful enough to suppress the Nine Tails. However, after encountering Tenzo, Hatake Kakashi felt that there might be some problems with that document. Now Hatake Kakashi knew. The problem wasn't with the document. Tenzo? Hatake Kakashi looked towards Tenzo beside him. "I couldn't possibly do it." Tenzo slowly shook his head and said in a deep voice, "This technique requires a massive amount of wood-release chakra to activate, and my chakra is simply not enough to launch this technique." Hatake Kakashi silently nodded. On the main stand of the spectator seats, the third Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, wearing his hat, used it to conceal his view as he observed the frightened expressions of the leaders of other small ninja villages in different areas, nodding to himself in satisfaction. The main purpose of this Chunin exam has been achieved. Now, the only trouble left was to quickly sever the ties between Akahara Kagura, this young man, and Shimura Danzo, and to have this youngster accept the inheritance of the will of fire. Otherwise uncontrolled power was still a bit too dangerous. Sarutobi Hiruzen's gaze was fixed on the figure slowly ascending the wooden dragon, his expression gradually becoming more serious. He could not let such powerful strength be influenced by Danzo. As Danzo's old friend, Hiruzen was very aware of Danzo's narrow-mindedness. Danzo simply couldn't handle it and would eventually cause problems. In a dark corner, a mysterious masked man in a gray robe leaned against the wall, with the lower half of a pitcher plant monster hidden underground, and only the upper half of the body exposed. What a terrifying child. The half-black face of the pitcher plant monster looked at the scene in the examination arena and said ominously, "This kid has actually mastered the wood-release techniques of Hashirama. It's unimaginable that someone in the ninja world could reach such a level by transplanting Senju's cells. He's a useful pawn." The mysterious masked man slowly nodded and continued, "We can almost start our plan to make this kid betray Konoha." When the mysterious masked man witnessed the technique of the wooden dragon, he was indeed shocked, but he quickly calmed down. He was not afraid of this technique. "Your seed is about to be killed," the half-white face of the pitcher plant monster said with a mischievous smile. Facing such a level of wood-release technique, Uchiha Itachi, that young one, has no chance of winning. It doesn't matter. The mysterious masked man shook his head indifferently and continued. If Uchiha Itachi dies, it would actually make our plans go more smoothly. It seems he still wants to resist. Even though a single strike from the opponent would end it all, inside the examination hall, in the dense forest, Uchiha Itachi raised his head to look at the wooden dragon above, vigorously stepping on a tree trunk, and threw a shuriken, firmly nailing it to the huge tree. Uchiha Itachi glanced at his palm, holding a wire in his hand, another wire wrapped around the shuriken. He leapt, swinging in a large arc like a swing, propelling himself towards the sky. Clearly, this young man still hadn't given up resisting. Uchiha Itachi swung in the air, quickly forming hand seals, and taking advantage of his height in the air, he spewed a burst of flame towards the wooden dragon's head. Fire release. Great fireball technique. The young man soaring into the sky was so vulnerable. The wooden dragon above the forest was so immense. At this moment, it created a heart-stirring scene. Regardless of the outcome of the exam, it showed the tragic determination of Uchiha Itachi. Boring resistance, Akihara Kagura, controlling the wooden dragon like a king, slowly turned his head, smashing the incoming fireball into a burst of fading sparks. Uchiha Itachi stopped on a huge tree, staring intently at the wooden dragon above. Cold sweat formed in his palms, a tension he had never felt before. Goodbye. Akihara Kagura drove the wooden dragon down. The massive wooden dragon dove unstoppably towards Uchiha Itachi, like hitting a small insect, as if nothing could stop it from happening. Big brother. Little Sasuke was almost screaming. Itachi. Uchiha Makoto anxiously watched the examination field, her gaze involuntarily turning to her husband, as if hoping he could do something. Uchiha Fugaku's eyes were blood-red, with 3 black tomo spinning slowly in his eye sockets, then gradually fading away. Uchiha Fugaku quickly calmed down, because he was not only Uchiha Itachi's father, but also the head of the Uchiha clan. Hey, stop! Shiranui Genma couldn't help but shout. As the chief examiner of the 3rd round, when he saw the candidates in danger, he should have intervened to prevent loss of life, but at that moment, with such a level of technique, he felt that even risking his life wouldn't stop it, only hoping that the chief examiner's order would make that kid stop the attack. However, the wooden dragon paused only for a moment. The massive wooden dragon charged at Uchiha Itachi once again. Countless giant trees in the forest were knocked down. Dust and smoke quickly spread, obscuring the view in the spectator stands. Eventually, the smoke slowly dissipated. The audience watched in astonishment at the scene inside the examination field. A huge green figure, holding a conical spiral sword, had directly pierced the wooden dragon's head, like a demon that had slain the wooden dragon. Chapter 42. Fire Ignited. What is that? A green giant? Gasps of surprise erupted from the audience. The final match of the Chunin exam was full of unexpected events. Originally, the audience thought that Akihara Kagura's wooden dragon was unique, but then a green half-body giant appeared in the arena, slaying the wooden dragon with a single sword strike. Everyone in the audience was staring intently at the situation in the arena, and they soon noticed 2 figures beneath the translucent shell of the green half-giant. Uchiha Itachi, Uchiha Shursui. Without much speculation, many already understood the situation, as most of the ninjas in Konoha had heard of Uchiha Shursui's name. So it was Uchiha Shursui who saved Uchiha Itachi. That green giant, is it Uchiha Shursui's technique? I didn't expect Uchiha Shursui to have such a technique. Compared to these ordinary people with limited perspective, some recognized Uchiha Shursui's technique, including many from the Uchiha clan who knew the name of this technique. The legendary, the highest realm of the Sharingan bloodline, a technique that can only be used by activating the Mangekyo Sharingan. Shursui has already mastered Susanoo. The morale of the entire Uchiha clan was greatly boosted. Originally, These Uchihas were shocked by Akahara Kagura's would-release techniques, and even felt that the Uchiha clan had no future when Itachi was about to be defeated. Now, hope was suddenly rekindled in their hearts. What does it matter if there is another would-release ninja in Konoha? The Uchiha clan also has the Mangekyo Sharingan, which can counter would-release. Is this the power of the Mangekyo Sharingan? Uchiha Itachi looked in amazement at the green Susanoo and then at his friend who had saved him from the crisis, unable to help but lower his head slowly. That moment just now, Uchiha Itachi almost thought he would die here. However, at the moment when the wooden dragon was about to strike, Uchiha Shursui suddenly appeared beside him, activating Susanoo to block the wooden dragon's attack. Shursui, you shouldn't have saved me. As a child who had always been good at thinking, and under Uchiha Shursui's guidance, Itachi had long understood the internal conflict between the clan and Konoha. The impact of Susanoo was too great. Many in the Uchiha clan believed in the power of the Mangekyo Sharingan and Susanoo, and Shursui Susanoo would undoubtedly reignite their ambitions. Itachi, what are you talking about? Uchiha Shursui stroked Itachi's head and explained with a smile, "You're like my little brother. How could I just stand by and watch all this happen?" Uchiha Shursui looked up at the sky again. "Moreover, it's because of my concern that I got confused, right?" It seemed like that child's attack paused. "Did you use a genjutsu on him?" "Uh-huh." Uchiha Itachi slowly nodded, his three Tomo Sharingan eyes emitting a red light. He whispered softly, "Just now, for a moment, I used my Sharingan to cast a genjutsu on Akahara Kagura, but it seems it was useless." "No, it was useful." Akahara Kagura's voice came from above. The wooden dragon's body slowly disintegrated and reverted back into vines. Seeing the threat eliminated, Uchiha Shursui's towering Susanoo also slowly dissipated. He curiously observed Akahara Kagura, who was descending on the vines. "Your genjutsu almost killed you," said Akahara Kagura, looking at Uchiha Itachi with a frown. "When the examiner asked me to stop fighting, I intended to stop and enjoy the fear on your face. But then I was caught in your genjutsu and lost control of the wooden dragon." Uchiha Itachi looked somewhat astonished. "Ha ha ha ha." Uchiha Shursui couldn't help but laugh out loud. Akahara Kagura fell silent, his words obviously false. With so many people in the audience during the Chunin exam, Akahara Kagura didn't believe he could kill Uchiha Itachi on the spot. What great benefit would it bring even if he desperately killed Uchiha Itachi? He might even get targeted by Uchiha Shursui. Akahara Kagura's gaze quietly swept over Uchiha Shursui. This man looked harmless, but he could be the most dangerous person present for him. His memories from a past life provided a piece of information. Uchiha Shursui's Mangekyo Sharingan could cast a unique genjutsu, Kodo Amatsukami. Kodo Amatsukami, an incredibly powerful technique, could permanently alter a person's will, easily turning them into a puppet for the caster. Fortunately, this genjutsu called Kodo Amatsukami had a cooldown period of over a decade, and Uchiha Shursui wouldn't use it recklessly. He would only reserve it for critical moments. Naturally, if Akahara Kagura really acted recklessly in Konoha and showed a slight attitude of endangering the village, Uchiha Shursui wouldn't hesitate to use Kodo Amatsukami on him. He is a dangerous man. This is a dangerous technique. Those are dangerous eyes. Because anyone who obtains Uchiha Shursui's Mangekyo Sharingan can use the Kodo Amatsukami contained within these eyes. There is a possibility that they could use Kodo Amatsukami on Akahara Kagura, and even just one Mangekyo Sharingan would be enough. Therefore, we must prevent anyone from getting the Kodo Amatsukami Mangekyo Sharingan, even Uchiha Shursui himself. The owner of these eyes, Uchiha Shursui, is not someone who can protect his own eyes, and being shackled by the ninja world's mindset, he never realizes that these eyes, if they fall into the hands of someone with ulterior motives, could cause great trouble for the ninja world. Those who like to use such despicable methods, once they know the true power of Kodo Amatsukami, will definitely not pass up the chance to obtain it. Akahara Kagura is not that kind of person. Such a method of forcibly altering someone's while using Kodo Amatsukami, and thereby forcing them to obey commands is too low level. Boring. Akihara Kagura slightly bowed his head. Uchiha Itachi was somewhat at a loss. Does this guy find fighting with me boring? All right. Uchiha Shursui patted Uchiha Itachi on the shoulder and said with a smile, "Don't worry about the outcome of a momentary fight. You two young ones have a long future ahead." After comforting Uchiha Itachi, Uchiha Shursui looked at Akihara Kagura with hope. "You both possess strong Kekkei Genkai, just like the first Hokage Senja Hashirama and his friend Uchiha Madara, who founded Konoha together. I hope you and Itachi can train together in the future to protect the future of Konoha." "Yes." Uchiha Itachi always listens to Shursui's teachings. "Then do your best to protect Konoha." Akihara Kagura nodded at Uchiha Itachi. Compared to Shiranui Genma, who can only shout to stop the fight, Uchiha Shursui actually seemed more like an examiner. However, Uchiha Shursui was still too naive. In this Chunin exam, Uchiha Shursui uses Susanoo to stop Akihara Kagura's wooden dragon, igniting the ambition of the Uchiha clan. Can Susanoo solve the first Hokage's wooden release? Can it also solve the group of Konoha higher UPS of the third Hokage? Someone lit a pile of dry straw but forgot that they had no ability to extinguish the fire, unless they used their life to extinguish the fire they lit. Chapter 43. Got the Task Rewards. The Chunin exam has come to an end. This Chunin exam was shorter than the past ones, but was the most spectacular in the history of Konoha. The third Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, announced the promotion of two individuals to Chunin rank, Akihara Kagura and Uchiha Itachi. Uchiha Itachi's loss to Akihara Kagura certainly made the Uchiha clan somewhat discontent, but Uchiha Shursui's use of Susanoo to dramatically save the situation regained their pride. Akihara Kagura didn't have time to concern himself with these matters. After all, there were two tasks associated with this exam, which provided Akihara Kagura with an opportunity to understand more about the reward system of this part-time employee system. System prompt. Participate in the Chunin exam as requested by Sarutobi Hiruzen. Task completed. Awarded skill, Konoha-style Taijutsu. Konoha-style Taijutsu, basic Taijutsu of Konoha village, including techniques like Shadow Dance Leaf, Leaf Whirlwind, Leaf Gale, Leaf Rising Wind, Great Leaf Whirlwind, and Strong Leaf Whirlwind, originating from the task reward given by Sarutobi Hiruzen. Wow, that's a big win. Just a bunch of Taijutsu techniques. Perhaps the task wasn't very difficult. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't have any special requirements. He just asked Akihara Kagura to participate in the Chunin exam. But that's not quite right. Hiruzen probably had Akihara Kagura, a would-release ninja, participate in the exam with the intention of having him suppress Uchiha Itachi. But, thinking like a politician, Hiruzen wouldn't explicitly state such intentions. No wonder Shimura Danzo always criticizes him. Akihara Kagura could only console himself, knowing his close combat skills were quite basic. This was a way to strengthen his weaknesses. A Konoha Chunin who doesn't know Taijutsu would be quite the anomaly. With the powerful physical abilities granted by Hashirama's cells, it was like adding a tooth to a tiger. Comparatively, his other superior, Shimura Danzo, wasn't a good leader either. System notification. Participate in the Chunin exam as requested by Shimura Danzo and defeat Uchiha Itachi in the exam. Task completed. Awarded Wind Release, Vacuum Blade. Wind Release. Vacuum Blade, B-rank Wind Release Ninjutsu, infusing Wind Release Chakra into a kunai to form a sharp blade, originating from the task reward given by Shimura Danzo. This technique reward is somewhat deceptive. Akihara Kagura doesn't even have a proper kunai. If it were as per Shimura Danzo's requirements, it wouldn't be easy for a regular genin to defeat Uchiha Itachi. Akihara Kagura's victory was purely due to the power of would-release ninjutsu. After tallying his rewards, Akihara Kagura leisurely headed back to the root base, planning to report to the Umbu the next morning. However, two gatekeepers stopped him. This time, The gatekeepers no longer feared Akahara Kagura. Their attitude was as cold as if he were an outsider intruding into the root base. In fact, Akahara Kagura was indeed an outsider now. Akahara Kagura, you are no longer a member of the root. The gatekeepers stopped Akahara Kagura from entering. Speaking bluntly, Lord Danzo has removed you from the root. We are not allowed to let you enter and exit the base freely. If you wish to see Lord Danzo, we can help to inform him. That's what they said. The two gatekeepers were prepared for Akahara Kagura's intrusion, even considering the possibility that he might cause a big scene. However, they could not disobey Shimura Danzo's orders. In fact, Shimura Danzo had reprimanded all members of the Root Division, believing they failed to adhere to the Root's will and had even tried to please Akahara Kagura in the past days. Was that really trying to please was clearly forced respect. At that time, Akahara Kagura, the young man, was wielding Danzo's authority and was more powerful than them. What could these ordinary Root ninjas do? As a result, Danzo no longer indulged the young man and blamed him for problems. Regardless, the Root Division had finally become normal again. This time, the two gatekeepers were resolute in their attitude towards Akahara Kagura. Even if he caused trouble, they would not let him pass anymore. I understand. This time, however, Akahara Kagura did nothing. He just deeply looked at the dark base and calmly turned to leave. Konoha, the moon in the sky was still bright. Akahara Kagura looked up at the moon. This ninja world's moon was not a real moon, but an artificially created moon. Akahara Kagura lowered his head and overlooked the scenery of the village. This village had many people, but none were his relatives. It had many houses, but not one for him to live in. Akahara Kagura found a bench in a park, lay down on his side, and decided to rest there for the night, planning to report to the Umbu the next day. The night in the village was a bit chilly. Akahara Kagura hugged his shoulders, his body slowly curling up. People always find a way to get through a night. In a dark corner, a mysterious masked man quietly appeared. A pitcher plant monster also slowly emerged from underground. It seems we don't need to do much. The black half-face of the pitcher plant monster showed a sinister and terrifying smile as it looked at Akahara Kagura lying on the bench. Its voice carried a hint of mockery. Is Shimura Danzo always so stupid? To carelessly throw away a would-release ninja who is loyal to him. Humph. Everyone in Konoha is a fool. The mysterious masked man snorted coldly and continued coldly. Those fools always think they can control everyone. What should we do now? The white half-face of the pitcher plant monster seemed puzzled and curiously asked, according to your plan, where would it be appropriate to dispose of the corpse of Aburaim Tatsuma? Anywhere will do. The mysterious masked man didn't care and coldly continued, no one will vouch for this kid. He can no longer explain himself clearly. It's unexpected. The black half-face of the pitcher plant monster smiled somewhat joyfully. Our plan is going so smoothly. We don't even need to think too much about it. This kid must be feeling desperate, right? Just abandoned by Shimura Danzo. And now he has to face baseless accusations and can't even find evidence to prove his innocence. All right, let's start. The mysterious masked man didn't want to waste too much time at this moment and instructed, let this kid see how cruel this false world can be. As his words ended, a space-time vortex appeared around the mysterious masked man. His body rapidly spun and disappeared from the spot. After seeing the mysterious masked man disappear, the pitcher plant monster's body slowly sank into the ground. The park remained silent. It was as if those two people had never been there. A young girl with a bun hairstyle passed by the park and was startled to see a homeless on the park bench. However, the girl, seeing that the figure was just a boy and probably not much older than her, calmed down. Although I often find weird things in the village since I was little, finding a person is still too strange. The girl's face wrinkled together. In the end, the girl gave up the terrifying thought of picking up a person and instead cheerfully went to fetch a small blanket, covering the 10-year-old boy with it. Akihara Kagura slowly opened his eyes, touched the blanket on his body, and quietly watched the bun-haired girl's departing figure. Kind people are always lucky. It seems my luck is indeed good today. Chapter 44. I remember I was the one who killed him. Night. Konoha. Root base. The guards at the root base were diligently guarding the base. Suddenly, a dark object was thrown into the well at the entrance of the base, startling the two guards who hurried over to check. This is Aburame Tatsuma? The eyes of the two guards suddenly changed. The object that fell at the entrance of the base was indeed the body of Aburame Tatsuma. Aburame Tatsuma's body, and even his head, were pierced by sharp wooden spikes, with dozens of wounds each showing a piece of wood, looking as if a bush had grown inside his body. This would release ninjutsu? The two guards immediately went to report to Shimura Danzo. Aburame Tatsuma was once Shimura Danzo's personal guard. Not only was he killed, but his body was thrown into the root base, clearly a provocation against the root. The most troublesome thing is the murderer is very likely to be Akihara Kagura. After all, the root base guards had just driven Akihara Kagura away. Aburame Tatsuma was killed by wood release, and his body was thrown in, most likely as the kid's revenge. Shimura Danzo, upon seeing Aburame Tatsuma's body, immediately determined that it was done by Akihara Kagura, as he had personally seen Akihara Kagura use this kind of wood-release ninjutsu. Moreover, Akihara Kagura is an extreme child. The two guards of the route were ordered to expel Akihara Kagura, who happened to meet Aburame Tatsuma returning from a mission in Mist Village. He simply killed Aburame Tatsuma to vent his anger against the route, which is very much in line with Akihara Kagura's style. Bring him back. A flash of rage crossed Shimura Danzo's face. Akihara Kagura killing Aburame Tatsuma was tantamount to challenging his authority. That kid must not think he could tolerate his insolence. The members of the route looked at each other. Although they dared not disobey Danzo's orders, they couldn't help but wonder if Danzo really wanted them to survive. Shimura Danzo also realized the situation. Leaning on his cane, he coldly ordered, "Does anyone know where that kid is?" A group of root ninjas dared not speak. They didn't know where Akihara Kagura was. Shimura Danzo once again realized there was a problem with his question, because Akihara Kagura was not a local from Konoha, but an outsider he had brought into Konoha. It's really troublesome. Where could that kid be in the middle of the night? Apart from the root base, where else could that kid stay? Everyone split up in search for him. Shimura Danzo's face turned exceptionally ugly as he said in a deep voice, "Whichever team finds him, just need to hold him off. I will arrive immediately. Before dawn, I want to see that kid." In the early hours of the morning, Akihara Kagura couldn't sleep. While the root ninjas were searching for him on a large scale, Akihara Kagura realized that something might have happened in the village and used a ninja in the shadow to investigate the situation at the root base. Akihara Kagura saw in his mind the corpse of Aburame Tatsuma, which could only have been caused by the wooden release. Piercing jutsu. In an instant, as an expert in framing others, Akihara Kagura immediately knew the reason for the sudden large-scale movement of the root ninjas. Someone was framing him using wooden release. There are only a few wooden release ninjas in the entire ninja world, and Shimura Danzo would definitely only know of Akihara Kagura himself, who can use the wooden release. Piercing jutsu. It was a setup falling squarely on Akihara Kagura. Akihara Kagura immediately thought about why he was being framed, as every frame-up in the ninja world does not come out of nowhere. This ninja world, is there someone actually trying to frame him? All he needs to do is to find out the other users of the piercing jutsu. The information brought by memories of his past life is extremely important. Akihara Kagura knows that there are others who can use this jutsu, a hidden mastermind in the ninja world. A man always wearing a mysterious mask, officially called the Mysterious Masked Man. This guy is actually in Konoha. while Akahara Kagura secretly used a ninja in the shadows to gather information about the mysterious masked man, he suddenly discovered that this guy was hiding in Konoha, even near himself. Perhaps the struggle in Konoha was too peaceful, making people subconsciously forget the dangers lurking in the ninja world. Akahara Kagura was still planning to continue being a double agent between Shimura Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen, but had already forgotten that someone was always watching everything happening in Konoha. Moreover, the last stop of Aburame Tatsuma's life was the Mist Village, which happened to be a major ninja village under the long-term control of the mysterious masked man. Has this guy always been in Konoha? Akahara Kagura's eyes narrowed slightly as he pondered everything that happened tonight. Using the piercing jutsu to kill Aburame Tatsuma to frame me, instead of thinking about killing me, is he trying to force me to defect? To become his pawn? Such a good thing, why not say it directly? The mysterious masked man could have just said it to my face. Why would an employee like me refuse the temptation to work for a new boss? How despicable to use such means. It's impossible to logically shake off this blame. Akahara Kagura suddenly sat up straight, the small blanket covering his body flung back. Like a cape the moment he tossed it behind him. Since he can't clear his name, he might as well accept his blame for now and find a way to get rid of it later. Anyway, this debt will be noted down. No matter what, he can't delay his journey to report to the Umbu today, because for Akahara Kagura, joining the Umbu means new superiors and a new employee welcome package. Conveniently, there is a man in Konoha's Umbu who can be used to cause trouble for the mysterious masked man. Hey! Akahara Kagura approached a team of root ninjas. Keep him busy. As soon as this team of root ninjas saw Akahara Kagura, they didn't wait for him to speak and immediately drew their ninja swords, surrounding him. Akahara Kagura's fingers suddenly came together. Accompanied by the activation of wood-release chakra, huge vines rapidly emerged from the ground, entwining the surrounding root ninjas. One root ninja dodged the vines, swinging his ninja sword at Akahara Kagura, who kicked him in the face and sent him flying. A vine quickly tied up the ninja, and the other root ninjas were also quickly subdued by the vines. The team leader of these root ninjas, very stern, asked with a stiff neck, "Lord Kagura, you killed Aburame Tatsuma. Do you now want to kill us too? We are here under Lord Danzo's orders, and he will be here soon. Take me to Lord Danzo." Akahara Kagura controlled the vines to let down this well-performing root team leader and whispered, "I won't kill you guys," to avoid angering Lord Danzo again. If Aburame Tatsuma hadn't just returned to Konoha and started mocking me for being kicked out of the root by Lord Danzo, I wouldn't have accidentally killed him. Yes, the root team leader slowly nodded, agreeing with Akahara Kagura's words. Aburame Tatsuma spoke wrongly. He indeed brought death upon himself. After the team of root ninjas and Akahara Kagura left, the mysterious masked man appeared under a large tree, his voice seemingly confused. Could it be I'm under a genjutsu? The mysterious masked man sounded bewildered. Why didn't that kid argue? Why did he admit to killing Aburame Tatsuma? The mysterious masked man felt his brain couldn't keep up. I remember. It should be me who killed Aburame Tatsuma, right? Chapter 45, Eye of Bond left. The mysterious masked man was a bit baffled. Why is Akahara Kagura's way of thinking so strange? Normally, when people are wrongfully accused, they try to defend themselves vigorously, and when they find themselves in a situation where they cannot vindicate themselves, they are forced to flee. But why is this Akahara Kagura taking the blame? Zetsu, follow them and see. The mysterious masked man could only let the pitcher plant monster sneak underground to investigate what exactly was going on and why the plan to force Akahara Kagura to flee had gone awry. Okay, the pitcher plant monster immediately sank down. After this creature named Zetsu infiltrated underground, it followed a group of people to the root base and secretly hid underground, eavesdropping on the conversation between Akahara Kagura and Shimura Danzo. At the root base, when Shimura Danzo first saw the body of Aburame Tatsuma, He was furious at Akahara Kagura's audacity and immediately wanted to capture this kid to teach him a lesson. Now, Akahara Kagura stood in front of him, even looking as if killing Abdurrahim Tatsuma was a matter of course, as if he had done nothing wrong. Why did you kill Tatsuma? I didn't like him when I was in the route, and he even mocked me for being kicked out of the base, even taunting me and saying that I was a traitor. I just wanted to teach him a lesson, but he insulted me as a traitor, and I killed him with one move. Shimura Danzo fell silent. What was going on with this Abdurrahim Tatsuma? Returning to the village without investigating the situation and mocking Akahara Kagura? Shimura Danzo expelled Akahara Kagura from the route not because Akahara Kagura betrayed him, but because Akahara Kagura was taken away by Sarutobi Hiruzen, and he could no longer trust Akahara Kagura as before. However, this kid was still a usable tool. You are too extreme. Shimura Danzo took a deep breath, suppressed his annoyance, and continued to scold. I have long ordered you not to kill people at will in the village. It's just Abdurrahim Tatsuma. It's not other people in the village. Lord Danzo can definitely deal with it. Akahara Kagura frowned and pointed to two gatekeepers of the route base. When those two guys kicked me out, I also wanted to kill them, but I was worried about upsetting Lord Danzo and being completely abandoned by Lord Danzo. Humph. You still know the severity. You still know to let me deal with the trouble you caused. Shimura Danzo clenched his cane and said in a deep voice, Luckily you threw Tatsuma's body into the root base. Once the Umbu finds Tatsuma's body, that would be a big trouble. Luckily, the person Akahara Kagura killed was from the root organization. If Akahara Kagura had killed other ninjas in the village, Shimura Danzo would have had to negotiate with others, and it would have been difficult to cover up for this kid. It seems like something is not quite right, but Shimura Danzo felt as if there was nothing wrong. Forget it. The most important thing now is to make this kid change his fondness for killing. At least he must not kill people in the village indiscriminately. This damn kid. He is a sharp weapon, yet before he could use it to attack the enemy, he is hurt by the weapon in his own hand. You are joining the Umbu. You must not kill your colleagues at will. Shimura Danzo could only suppress his annoyance and coldly reprimanded. Sarutobi Hiruzen is not a good person. He won't cover for you like I do. Can I kill that traitor called Tenzo and Kakashi? What if they mock me for being kicked out by Lord Danzo? No, they wouldn't do that. Shimura Danzo frowned tightly, feeling like he was speaking well of Tenzo and Kakashi. He quickly tried to clear his thoughts and finally brought up the main issue. I remember. You are supposed to report to the Umbu today. Yes. Go then. Shimura Danzo planned to send the young Akahara Kagura away first, warning him. If you cause trouble again, I will send you back. I won't. Akahara Kagura immediately interrupted Shimura Danzo. Akahara Kagura knew that what Shimura Danzo wanted to say was to send him back to Orochimaru. Of course, the old man was just saying it casually, but this should not be said lightly because there might be an eavesdropper around. Although Akahara Kagura knew that the mysterious masked man was always near him, it was not convenient to meet the new boss at this time. He still had to cause some trouble for this new boss. Job rules. If a company needs you to join, the treatment you get from actively sending a resume and being headhunted is completely different. After leaving the root base, Akahara Kagura went directly to the Umbu to report. After registering his information, he first received a set of complete Umbu equipment, a set of kunai, a short ninja sword, along with matching shuriken, a set of gray Umbu armor, and a mask to cover the face. Umbu changing room. When Akahara Kagura came in with a pile of equipment, a dozen Umbu ninjas were waiting for him inside, each with a different expression. Kid, you're late. An impatient Umbu ninja spoke up first, accusing him. Everyone is here waiting for you. Is there a mission? Akahara Kagura glanced at him and then looked around at everyone present. Or is it that your own abilities are too weak and you are unable to complete the mission? What did you say? Several Umbu on site instantly became furious. Don't be impulsive. Hatake Kakashi stopped him, feeling a bit of a headache coming on. This kid is really troublesome. On his first day on the job, he's already causing conflict with his colleagues. Who knows how much trouble he will cause in the future? Yeah, don't be impulsive. Tenzo quickly stopped his colleagues and said, Akahara Kagura is a newcomer. We should be more tolerant of him. After finishing his words, Tenzo actively tried to make peace with Akahara Kagura. Do you want to change your equipment first? You can put your things in the storage locker. There is an empty one there. Right. Almost forgot to tell you. Kakashi-senpai assigned you to my team. There are 4 teams in the Umbu. Each team is divided into 4 groups, and each group has 4 people. Hatake Kakashi is a team leader in the Umbu, and Tenzo is the leader of one of the groups in this team. Oh! Akahara Kagura looked at Tenzo in front of him, a smile appearing in his eyes, and his attitude suddenly became friendly. So, I'm your subordinate now? Sounds good. System prompt. You have a new superior, Tenzo. Reward for new employee welcome package. Gain new trait would release Kekii Genkai. System prompt. Detected that the host already possesses would release Kekii Genkai. Would release Kekii Genkai Enhanced. You can develop more would release ninjutsu suitable for yourself. System prompt. You have a new superior, Hatake Kakashi. Reward for new employee welcome package. Unlock new trait Ayabon left. Ayabon left. The legendary Mangekyo Sharingan, though only a left eye, still possesses power of the dojutsu beyond ordinary people's understanding. If combined with Ayabon right, the Mangekyo Sharingan will become even more powerful. Chapter 46. This new subordinate is a bit rebellious. Mangekyo Sharingan. This is the pinnacle of the evolution of the Sharingan, a top-tier Kekii Genkai. If a person possesses the Mangekyo Sharingan, then they have the potential to contend with opponents of the level of a Hokage, easily becoming a top-tier ninja. The Mangekyo Sharingan represents a transformative evolution, significantly enhancing the illusionary abilities of the regular Sharingan, enabling control over tailed beasts through illusions. Moreover, each Mangekyo Sharingan possesses a unique and powerful dojutsu, a power beyond the imagination of ordinary ninjas, for example, Uchiha Shursue's Kodo Amatsukami. With a pair of Mangekyo Sharingan, one can even awaken stronger dojutsu, like the green Susanoo once used by Uchiha Shursui. Of course, there are significant limitations to the Mangekyo Sharingan. Excessive use of its techniques can deplete its power, leading to permanent blindness. Unfortunately, Akahara Kagura has only obtained one Mangekyo Sharingan. To gain more powerful dojutsu, he must find a way to acquire the other eye. The system is a bit stingy. Hatake Kakashi is a renowned figure throughout the ninja world. In a previous life, Hatake Kakashi was an iconic character. Working for Kakashi, the welcome package surprisingly contained only one Mangekyo Sharingan. Loyal to Konoha, contributing to the village's future, doesn't this eye of bond left characteristic force one to switch allegiance to another boss? To obtain the eye of bonds right and a complete pair of Mangekyo Sharingan, one must work for another boss, who is not a good person. Well, this is also within my plans. Akahara Kagura changes his clothes and equipment while trying to feel any changes in his left eye to avoid others noticing its anomaly. Perhaps because the system's reward is directly from an innate Kekii Genkai rather than an external transplant, Akahara Kagura can feel that his brain can switch between the Mangekyo Sharingan and normal vision. This left eye, what amazing dojutsu does it possess? System prompt. Based on the host's inner will, the Mangekyo Sharingan's dojutsu is Awakening Successful Awakening. Ayabon left has been replaced with a new trait Mangekyo Sharingan left. Congratulations on acquiring the new skill Limited Tsukuyomi. Mangekyo Sharingan left has strong observation, copying, and hypnosis abilities. Enhances observation. Strengthens the ability to cast and see through illusions, can copy physical techniques and non-bloodline ninja techniques, and even hypnotize tailed beasts. It includes the Dojutsu Limited Tsukuyomi, and Dojutsu within the Mangekyo Sharingan. When used on an enemy, it creates a new illusionary world based on the enemy's life and the host's will. Using the power of space-time, the enemy's true body is pulled into the illusionary world. If the enemy cannot escape the fate of the illusionary world or defeat the host, they will be lost in the illusionary world forever. System prompt. Using limited Tsukuyomi requires at least SSS level chakra. Excessive use of limited Tsukuyomi will lead to blindness of the Mangekyo Sharingan. If the host awakens Aya Bonds right and gains a new Mangekyo Sharingan, the power of limited Tsukuyomi will be greatly enhanced. I seem to have seen this dojutsu before, but it doesn't seem like the technique I should be awakening. Akahara Kagura feels that this dojutsu is somewhat special and might become his trump card, potentially more efficient at dealing with enemies than wood release. Certainly, the wood release Kekii Genkai was enhanced due to Tenzo, and Akahara Kagura felt that he could manipulate the wood release chakra as easily as his own limbs, even without the constraint of hand seals, and could create new wood release ninja techniques based on his own ideas. Now he had achieved the purpose of coming to the Umbu to report, and the welcome gifts from his two new supervisors were quite fruitful. It was time to move on to the next plan, to bring some trouble to the mysterious masked man hiding in Konoha and make this future new boss come to him proactively. Just right in this Umbu changing room, there was someone who could trouble the mysterious masked man. Tenzo, that's the name, right? Akahara Kagura, having dressed himself, turned his eyes to Tenzo, who had been kindly guiding him, and spoke. "Want to know why I was late this morning?" "What reason?" Tenzo curiously looked at the young man before him. "Find a quiet place." Akihara Kagura raised his eyebrows and continued. "Or maybe it's better to find a place to talk after completing the mission." Tenzo slowly turned to look at Hatake Kakashi, seeking help from this senpai, as he had never been alone with Akihara Kagura before. At this moment, Tenzo urgently needed Hatake Kakashi's help. Following his gaze, Akihara Kagura turned to Hatake Kakashi and invited, if Kakashi-senpai is free, he could also help as a referee, even if he is biased towards Tenzo during the judgment. "You guys go and perform the task of protecting Lord Hokage." Hatake Kakashi waved his hand to send a group of Umbu ninjas out, instructing, "If there are any orders, come and tell me immediately. I will handle their problems first." The group of Umbu ninjas filed out. Now, only the three of them were left in the entire Umbu changing room. Akihara Kagura sat in the changing room, casually delivering a message. Last night, someone secretly used wood release to kill Abraham Tatsuma from the root and dumped him at the root base. Lord Danzo called me over for questioning, and I admitted that I did it. Tenzo's expression changed. "You killed Tatsuma-senpai?" Fear and unease flashed through Tenzo's eyes. "This kid, he's trying to scare me." Hatake Kakashi also looked upset, seemingly thinking of something unpleasant. "Killing your own comrade. Is that what you wanted to tell us?" "But it wasn't me." Akihara Kagura stared intently at Tenzo, unflinchingly continuing. "Someone used wood release to kill Abraham Tatsuma and threw him into the root base, framing me, to drive a wedge between me and Lord Danzo. Only you." "It wasn't me." Tenzo quickly shook his head and retorted. "I was on a mission last night, and others in my class can vouch for me. But it wasn't me either." Akihara Kagura looked at Tenzo, spreading his palms. "If I wanted to kill Abraham Tatsuma, I wouldn't need to bring up this matter, right? Even if I killed him in front of Lord Danzo, there wouldn't be any punishment. Team leader Tenzo, in the whole of Konoha, or even the entire ninja world, only the two of us can use would release ninjutsu. Could there be anyone else who would release Kekii Genkai?" Tenzo felt that he was at a loss for words. "Maybe not." Hatake Kakashi slightly raised his eyes and explained, "The S-class rogue ninja of the village, Orochimaru. The guy who uses you for human experiments. It's not impossible for him to create a new would release Kekii Genkai ninja." Akihara Kagura was a bit speechless. I want to cause trouble for my new boss, not for you to trouble my old boss. I'm very curious about something. Hatake Kakashi looked at Akahara Kagura and continued. It wasn't you who killed Abraham Tatsuma, so why didn't you clarify the so-called truth to Shimura Danzo? If I had denied it, Lord Danzo would no longer trust me, because the person who used this incident to frame me was trying to drive a wedge between me and Lord Danzo, and it's very likely that it was done by you guys. Akahara Kagura looked back at Hatake Kakashi, unafraid. Admitting to killing Abraham Tatsuma is just a trivial matter. Losing Lord Danzo's trust is a real issue for me. Akahara Kagura turned to Tenzo and said, Team Leader Tenzo, I have already taken the blame for this in front of Lord Danzo, so I'll remember this debt. Tenzo's face turned pale, feeling truly wronged. This new subordinate. Why'd he just throw a black pot on my head as soon as he arrived? Chapter 47. 18 hours of work. Tenzo felt that he was truly wronged. Hatake Kakashi believed that Tenzo was also wronged. He always knew Tenzo was an honest and upright person, incapable of such random acts of murder. Akahara Kagura knew even more about Tenzo's innocence. As the one who framed Tenzo, he must be the most aware of how wrong Tenzo was. Is there a possibility? Tenzo's face turned pale, and he cautiously put forward his hypothesis. Kagura, besides the two of us, is there another released ninja hiding in the village? It's not impossible. Hatake Kakashi looked up at the sky, muttering to himself. In the world of ninja, anything can happen, any kind of person can appear. Nothing would surprise me. Hatake Kakashi had a strange idea in his mind. Someone wanted to keep this kid away from Shimura Danzo, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing, though the method was a bit extreme. Of course, such thoughts certainly couldn't be spoken aloud. Otherwise, this kid who always talks about Shimura Danzo might start fighting with him on the spot. Who would do such a thing? Who would benefit from driving a wedge between Shimura Danzo and Akahara Kagura? Hatake Kakashi couldn't help but recall the style of the old man in the Hokage Tower. Could it be that under the third Hokage, another would-release ninja was hidden? When did this would-release ninja appear? However, killing someone like Abraham Tatsuma didn't seem like the third Hokage's style. Yet as a ninja who had spent many years in the Umbu, Hatake Kakashi had experienced much darkness and wouldn't use his fixed mindset to judge the thoughts of a Hokage. Of course, this matter had to be thoroughly investigated. A would-release ninja who killed fellow villagers was hiding in the village. At the very least, it needed to be known whether this person was an enemy infiltrator or a subordinate hidden by someone in a high position. All right, I will look into this. Hatake Kakashi planned to take over this trouble on behalf of his two subordinates and thought to himself, if this person wants to ruin your relationship with Danzo but hasn't achieved his goal, he will surely appear again to use wooden release to kill. Hatake Kakashi said this, and then looked at Akahara Kagura. Don't doubt your team leader Tenzo would definitely not frame or entrap others. Kakashi-senpai. Tenzo's eyes clearly showed some emotion. TL, this is not BL. Oh. Akahara Kagura nodded, clearly somewhat incredulous. Could it be that he really likes to frame and trap others? If he had no other choice, how could he possibly pin the blame on Tenzo? Forget it. The goal has been achieved. As long as Hatake Kakashi is willing to investigate, that's enough. Even if that mysterious masked man hiding in the shadows doesn't show any flaws, Akahara Kagura must find a way to let Hatake Kakashi discover some clues. Meanwhile, the pitcher plant monster, secretly lurking underground and eavesdropping, quietly informs the mysterious masked man of the conversation between Hatake Kakashi, Tenzo, and Akahara Kagura. TSK. When the mysterious masked man received this message, he couldn't help but mock first. Kakashi, that fool is really overestimating himself. What does he think he can find out? Tonight I'll kill another person and see what that idiot can do. Wait a minute. You're not smart either. You clearly want to go against Hatake Kakashi. Feeling that the mysterious masked man was getting a bit carried away, the pitcher plant monster quickly advised. They already know that someone is secretly instigating things. Our plan to use would release to frame Akahara Kagura is already very unlikely to succeed. As the pitcher plant monster spoke, it paused for a moment before continuing to advise. Even if you kill another person, it won't mean much anymore, right? It might even prove that the kid is being framed by someone. The mysterious masked man suddenly fell silent, distracted by Hatake Kakashi for a moment. He forgot that what he originally wanted to do was to recruit Akahara Kagura, Zetsu. The mysterious masked man took a deep breath, calming himself down. Let's continue to watch that kid for now, and see if there are other opportunities. Of course, no opportunity was found today, because Akahara Kagura, who just joined the Umbu, would certainly not act alone. Hatake Kakashi, along with Tenzo and Akahara Kagura, carried out a day's Umbu routine tasks, mainly responsible for protecting the Hokage, conveying the Hokage's orders to other departments, and inspecting defense patrols to prevent enemy invasion. When can I go to rest? Akahara Kagura feels that the daily tasks of the Umbu are relatively easy. Where do Umbu members rest at night? In a dormitory? Why haven't I seen a dormitory? Rest at night. Hatake Kakashi and Tenzo looked at Akahara Kagura in surprise. Not resting at night. Akahara Kagura's expression was even more surprising than theirs. Of course not. Hatake Kakashi quickly shook his head and continued. Besides going out on missions, the Umbu usually need to perform over 16 hours of patrol duty in the village. Someone will come to relieve us tomorrow morning. Work 16 hours a day. Akahara Kagura's face couldn't help but change. With so many streetlights in Konoha, why isn't the Hokage's corpse hanging from them? TL, this is a capitalist joke. Umbu work is inherently somewhat dull. Compared to going out on missions, staying in the village to protect the Hokage and prevent enemy invasions is already quite easy. Tenzo seemed to have gotten used to these things and continued. Only a true ninja who can endure can become part of the Umbu. While speaking, Tenzo handed Akahara Kagura a military rations pill. Can you adapt to the work of the Umbu on your first day? Let's have dinner first. This is dinner? Akahara Kagura experienced the working atmosphere of the ninja world for the first time. If the daily life of Umbu members is always like this, can't the Hokage's corpse really be hung separately on the street lights? It might be a bit hard. Hatake Kakashi bit into a soldier pill and said softly, the full name of the Umbu is Ansatsu Senjutsu Dekushibutai, Assassination Tactics, Special Forces / Special Assassination and Tactical Squad. We are Konoha's army during peacetime. It can't be as easy as when other ninjas are on missions. Oh, Akahara Kagura immediately understood. Right, you don't have a code name yet. Hatake Kakashi glanced at Akahara Kagura. When executing missions in the Umbu, one should not use their own name or call others by their name. To avoid being discovered by enemies, it's best to use a code name. Is that necessary? Akahara Kagura, looking at Hatake Kakashi's white hair, couldn't help but say, in the entire ninja world, there aren't many who use with release, and not many have white hair like Captain Kakashi. Do we really need a code name? I haven't even heard the third Hokage call you by your code name today. Hatake Kakashi was silenced. It seems that it's indeed unnecessary. Tenzo stood by their side, carefully joining in their conversation. Let's start by patrolling the village. Hatake Kakashi, not intending to argue with Akahara Kagura, brought up the main issue. Both of you, pay extra attention and see if you can find any traces left by that would release ninja. After all, the other hidden would release ninja might be a subordinate of the third Hokage, and Hatake Kakashi dared not let too many people know, only entrusting Tenzo and Akahara Kagura with this task. Okay, Akahara Kagura felt immediately spirited. By helping the future new boss, the mysterious masked man, create new troubles, and forcing this boss to come and hire himself to solve these troubles, Akahara Kagura was indeed very spirited about this matter. Chapter 48. The Mysterious Masked Man Night. The village of Konoha was very quiet. This was because the Umbu ninjas were guarding this peaceful village. Konoha is the most prosperous and largest ninja village in the ninja world. Other villages inevitably harbor hostility towards Konoha, and even during peacetime, they would not miss any opportunity to probe into Konoha's intelligence. A group of Umbu ninjas, dressed in gray armor, were constantly leaping and falling around the outskirts of Konoha, patrolling to see if there were any breaches in the village's defenses. Akahara Kagura had also become one of them. However, this young Umbu member did not patrol as seriously as the others, but rather casually checked an area and then stopped to rest. This kid, slacking off during a mission, the pitcher plant monster, hiding underground, was keeping an eye on Akahara Kagura. Its black half-face couldn't help but feel a bit disappointed in the lazy Kagura. The white half-face of the pitcher plant monster quietly defended. Kids will be kids. Maybe he just likes to play. Is he talking to himself? Let's eavesdrop a bit. The pitcher plant monster slowly crept close to Akahara Kagura, close enough to eavesdrop on his mutterings. Who is framing me? If the person doesn't continue to kill people using wood release, will I never be able to find out who framed me? I must find a way to use wood release to kill some people and frame the one who framed me, at least to clear my own suspicion. I must make a bigger commotion. It would be best to create panic throughout Konoha, just like the chaos caused by the Nine-Tails incident in the entire Konoha. This kid is crazy. The pitcher plant monster was somewhat shocked. How could there be such a bizarre person in the ninja world? Encountering someone using wood release to frame him, he didn't think of handling it low-key, but instead thought of committing murders himself, and even wanted to escalate the situation. The pitcher plant monster thought this kid was too weird and secretly reported to the mysterious masked man to avoid any uncontrollable trouble. Framing the murderer, the mysterious masked man, upon hearing such information, couldn't help but sneer at the idea. That kid doesn't even know who I am. How could he possibly set me up? I'm actually curious to see how that kid tries to set me up. Yes, Akahara Kagura does not know his identity. Everyone in the ninja world probably doesn't know about him. And apart from a few people, nobody knows that there's a mysterious masked man in the ninja world. However, sometimes, to frame someone, you don't need their identity information. Logically, Akahara Kagura indeed doesn't know the mysterious masked man's information, but he knows who has seen the mysterious masked man in person. The most ferocious tailed beast, the Nine-Tails. The last Nine-Tails disturbance in Konoha village was caused by the mysterious masked man, and the Nine-Tails harbors deep hatred for anyone who has controlled it. The mysterious masked man places great importance on the Nine-Tails. If anything really happens to the Nine-Tails, he will definitely rush over. If the mysterious masked man refuses to show up, Akahara Kagura has another plan. Just by transforming into the appearance of the mysterious masked man, it's highly likely that it would provoke a chakra riot in the Nine-Tails, making many people aware of the existence of the mysterious masked man and unable to resist investigating the truth about him. Now it's time to find Uzumaki Naruto. Is it easy to meet Uzumaki Naruto? Very easy. He could be encountered at any time. Uzumaki Naruto, the little guy, grew up without parents, not taught how to live. The living expenses given to him by Konoha often wasn't enough for his needs. This little guy would often go fishing by the Konoha River or pick mushrooms in the back mountains late into the night because of extreme hunger tonight. It just so happens that this little guy is hungry again. Uzumaki Naruto, jubilantly picking wild mushrooms, has no idea that Akahara Kagura is standing on a big tree, secretly spying on his movements. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. The pitcher plant monster, which has been hiding in this big tree, is also spying on Akahara Kagura and has noticed the little guy, Uzumaki Naruto. In Akahara Kagura's hands, wooden spikes are gathering, seemingly unaware that someone is eavesdropping on him, carelessly planning his scheme. The Nine-Tails must be important, right? Is there anything more alarming to Konoha than the mastermind behind the scenes killing the Nine-Tails? What is this kid talking about? Both brains of the pitcher plant monster are about to explode. Why would this kid say such a horrifying thing? How can he so casually talk about killing the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki? Is this kid really a ninja from Konoha? The most troublesome part is that the Nine-Tails is inside Uzumaki Naruto, and the life of the tailed beast and the Jinchuriki are interconnected. Uzumaki Naruto, the Jinchuriki, is very weak. If this kid, Akahara Kagura, kills Uzumaki Naruto, he could indeed kill the Nine-Tails. This would cause great chaos in Konoha. No! It could even cause turmoil throughout the entire ninja world. This kid is too extreme. Must we stop all this from happening first? The pitcher plant monster's two brains quickly reach an agreement. It could only inform the mysterious masked man to come immediately, as it had no combat ability. The mysterious masked man hurriedly used space-time ninjutsu to come over. This dark figure, who had always been hiding behind the ninja world and thought he could manipulate everyone, felt for the first time that things were out of his control. Although he didn't know what impact it would have on himself if Akahara Kagura killed the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, it was obviously beyond his control, especially since that guy also wanted to frame him. Moreover, the child Uzumaki Naruto, during the last Nine-Tails disturbance, the mysterious masked man made a life-changing decision to kill his teacher, turning himself from a ninja aspiring to be the Hokage into a behind-the-scenes manipulator trying to overturn the ninja world. Maybe there's still a bit of conscience left. Maybe it's because Uzumaki Naruto, the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, can still restrain the Nine-Tails, so there's no need to let this child die so early. Konoha's back mountain. Akahara Kagura seemed to be patrolling here by chance and saw Uzumaki Naruto. Greeting him, "Hey, Naruto, what are you doing here?" Kagura, Uzumaki Naruto waved excitedly at Akahara Kagura, holding up his hand full of colorful mushrooms. "I just picked these mushrooms. Want to have soup together? Green mushrooms. Red mushrooms. Aren't these all poisonous mushrooms?" Akahara Kagura frowned, his eyes changing. "After eating these with you, we'll probably see our parents." Really? Uzumaki Naruto seemed somewhat happy. This little guy still didn't quite understand Akahara Kagura's meaning. Holding a mushroom in his hand, he rushed towards Akahara Kagura, even feeling happy to meet someone who didn't dislike him. "Don't get close to him." A voice suddenly appeared here. A space-time vortex slowly appeared between Akahara Kagura and Uzumaki Naruto, and the figure of the mysterious masked man quickly flashed out of the space-time vortex. When the mysterious masked man arrived, his brain didn't have time to think of other ways. He could only hurriedly appear in front of the two, even if he revealed any flaws. He could use the Mangekyo Sharingan to hypnotize them and erase their memories. Splash! Blood splattered. A wooden spike pierced into the flesh. The moment the mysterious masked man hurriedly used the space-time jutsu to appear, a wooden spike had already suddenly pierced his body, as if waiting for the moment he appeared, leaving him no time to dodge. "Good evening, intruder." A playful look flashed in Akahara Kagura's eyes. It was somewhat unexpected that a behind-the-scenes manipulator of the ninja world would be so easily deceived. Chapter 49. The Man Behind the Nine-Tails Rebellion. The wooden spike sneak attack was perfectly timed. This was precisely the trap set by Akahara Kagura. The wooden spike thrown by Akahara Kagura was aimed at the moment when the mysterious masked man, using a space-time vortex, released his body and couldn't resist. The mysterious masked man looked down at the wooden spike, piercing his body, his voice somewhat muffled. "I thought I would never be hurt in this false world again." How long had it been since he was last injured? Was the last time during the Nine-Tails disturbance? The last time he was injured, he wanted to kill the father of Uzumaki Naruto, who was behind him. This time, he got injured while trying to protect this little guy, Uzumaki Naruto, behind him. This world is so false that it feels ironic. The mysterious masked man naturally thought he was protecting Uzumaki Naruto, keeping the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki from being killed. ensuring that nothing unexpected happens to the Eye of the Moon plan. Would release. Piercing spike technique. Akihara Kagura raised his finger. The wooden spike inside the mysterious masked man's body suddenly grew. A bizarre scene unfolded. The growing wooden spike did not harm the mysterious masked man's body, and even suddenly fell to the ground from inside him. The mysterious masked man's body had just become transparent and dematerialized. This is the mysterious masked man space-time dojutsu, which can place his body inside an alternative space, avoiding harm in the real world. Strange technique and the Sharingan. Akihara Kagura's gaze shifted to the Mangekyo Sharingan revealed by the mysterious masked man, his expression gradually turning cold. A member of the Uchiha clan, reveal your identity. Why are you sneaking around here in the middle of the night? No need to know who I am. The mysterious masked man looked at Akihara Kagura, speaking coldly. I am here just to prevent the blonde kid behind me from being killed. How can this kid have the audacity to ask such a question? His own appearance here was because of this crazy kid, to frame the murderer. He even thought about killing Konoha's Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, a Konoha AMBU ninja, more extreme than himself, an enemy of Konoha. How did you know someone wanted to kill Uzumaki Naruto? Akihara Kagura's eyes narrowed slightly, staring intently at the mysterious masked man, as if trying to see the secrets hidden in him. Even I, a member of the AMBU, don't know about this. Oh, you don't know? The questioning voice of the mysterious masked man was somewhat chilling. If it weren't for you, this little kid suddenly wanting to kill the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, how could I possibly have revealed my identity and rushed over here? What on earth is Hatake Kakashi, that bastard, doing? How could he leave such a dangerous kid in the Umbu? Now I know. I am from Konoha Umbu, and I will protect him. You are the one who wants to harm Naruto, aren't you? Akihara Kagura sneered and suddenly shouted loudly, Uzumaki Naruto, quickly come behind me. This guy might be an enemy. Huh. Uzumaki Naruto was a bit confused. Undoubtedly, in Uzumaki Naruto's mind, Akihara Kagura was definitely one of their own. The little blonde quickly ran towards Akihara Kagura. Don't go over there. The mysterious masked man threw a black rod with his hand, stopping Uzumaki Naruto's action. Uzumaki Naruto, don't get close to that guy. He wants to kill you. An invader slandering the Konoha Umbu? Has this world become too absurd? Akihara Kagura quickly controlled a vine that sprouted from the ground, which swiftly reached for Uzumaki Naruto, seemingly trying to protect him. This false world has always existed. It's absurd in itself. The mysterious masked man instantly appeared beside Uzumaki Naruto and kicked him away from the vine, sending the little blonde flying backward. The mysterious masked man did not trust Akihara Kagura. Ain't no way. In an instant, Uzumaki Naruto saw the mask of the mysterious masked man. A hint of red appeared in Uzumaki Naruto's eyes, and a violent surge of crimson chakra instantly enveloped his body, coating him in a chakra cloak. Uzumaki Naruto, with a fierce look, seemingly lost in madness, lunged at the mysterious masked man. The Nine-Tails, still not learning your lesson? The mysterious masked man glanced at the crazed Uzumaki Naruto, quickly raised his palm, and a black rod instantly extended from his sleeve, piercing the shoulder of the little guy and pinning him directly to the ground. Dealing with the Nine-Tails, the mysterious masked man had plenty of tricks, let alone controlling a young Jinchuriki wrapped in a bit of the Nine-Tails chakra. Now it should be my turn to find this interesting, right? Akihara Kagura tilted his head, seemingly very curious about the scene before him. Why does Naruto react like this upon seeing you? No, rather, why do the Nine-Tails inside Naruto react like this upon seeing you? The mysterious masked man suddenly clenched his fist. Ever since the Nine-Tails incident 6 years ago, there had been no issues with the Nine-Tails inside Uzumaki Naruto. But this time, upon seeing his mask, it suddenly became violent. Now everyone knows there is a problem, Originally, it was just to protect the Nine Tails from being killed, but unexpectedly, the Nine Tails' violence exposed some secrets of the past. Let me guess. Akihara Kagura stroked his chin, starting to deduce the process based on the known results. The Nine Tails wouldn't go berserk without reason. The last time it went berserk during the Nine Tails incident, you were also involved, right, intruder? You really are smart. The mysterious masked man begrudgingly complimented him. Your Sharingan is not bad either. Akihara Kagura returned the compliment, continuing leisurely. The Uchiha clan's Mangekyo Sharingan can control the tailed beasts. If I'm not wrong, 6 years ago, you must have controlled the Nine Tails. Not bad. The mysterious masked man slowly nodded his head. Do you hate Konoha? Akihara Kagura suddenly quickened his questioning. Yes. The mysterious masked man did not deny it. Do you also dislike this world? Akihara Kagura seemed to be asking a meaningless question. Yes. The mysterious masked man found this question quite meaningful. If Akihara Kagura keeps talking like this, the mysterious masked man wouldn't mind letting this little guy understand his thoughts, even wanting to tempt this little guy to agree that the false world needs to change. However, Akihara Kagura's questions gradually became strange. If you hate this world, you always need a reason. It seems your family must all be deceased. Correct? The mysterious masked man didn't have time to thoroughly instill into Akihara Kagura that this world is a mistake. Suddenly being asked and reminded of his grandmother whom he hadn't thought about for a long time. Did you kill Aburame Tatsuma? Akihara Kagura abruptly asked a question. Correct. The mysterious masked man abruptly spoke the truth. Little kid. The mysterious masked man's eyes suddenly tightened, feeling like he had been tricked. Did you deliberately distract my attention just to find out about this? I should say, this is the only thing I could ask. Akihara Kagura hugged his arms, with his left finger gently tapping on his right arm. The one who once caused the Nine Tails disturbance, you have too many secrets on you. Killing Aburame Tatsuma seems rather trivial, so I was able to ask. But it doesn't matter anymore. After tonight, these will no longer be secrets. Akihara Kagura's chakra violently erupted, and vines burst out from the ground. Now I just need to entangle you. The rest is just waiting for the Umbu reinforcements. Chapter 50. You are? The vine attacks all fell on empty space, one after another. The vines passed through the body of the mysterious masked man, just like passing through air, without causing him the slightest harm. The wood release jutsu of Akihara Kagura had no effect on the mysterious masked man. The ability of the mysterious masked man's Mangekyo Sharingan, which allows him to evade any attack, almost innately secures him an unbeatable position in battle. Planning to hold out for reinforcements with these tactics, the mysterious masked man ignored the vines piercing through his body and rushed towards Akihara Kagura. Kid, the people from Konoha are always late. Before they arrive, I'll capture you, so that the Nine Tails Jinchuriki doesn't face any danger. You're the biggest danger here, aren't you? Akihara Kagura raised his finger to his chest, and a vine emerged from beneath his feet, quickly retreating with him. Even though Akihara Kagura knew the weakness of the mysterious masked man, it wasn't easy to counter his abilities, as the opponent wouldn't just stand still to be attacked, and could easily use his intangibility to catch him. The mysterious masked man leaped into the air, touching the retreating vine. His right eye rapidly spun, creating a space-time vortex in an instant. The vine was rapidly dragged into space. Akihara Kagura's body was involuntarily pulled towards the mysterious masked man. Once captured, he would be at the mercy of his captor. However, this was also an opportunity. When the mysterious masked man used his space-time dojutsu to absorb objects, his body would become tangible. Akihara Kagura quickly formed a wooden spike and threw it at the mysterious masked man, forcing him to abandon the absorption of the vine and re-enter his intangible state. What a hassle! Akihara Kagura frowned. Without a space-time dojutsu, it was indeed troublesome to fight against the mysterious masked man. He could only try to set some traps, as the most important aspect of the opponent's dojutsu was space. If he could hide a clone inside the opponent's space in the face of power disparity, one must experience the harshness of reality. The mysterious masked man charged at Akahara Kagura again, coldly saying, "No matter how you resist, it's all futile. It doesn't matter." Akahara Kagura took a deep breath, as if regaining his fighting spirit, but said somewhat despondently, "All I need is to hold out until reinforcements arrive." Akahara Kagura seemed still eager to make an effort. "As long as Captain Kakashi arrives immediately, everything will get better." Kakashi is just a waste." The mysterious masked man dismissed this with contempt, as if the name triggered his anger. In this despairing reality, that waste Kakashi can't change anything. Akahara Kagura ignored him and just raised his finger to form a hand seal. Vines rapidly grew from the ground, spiraling into a huge sphere, and Akahara Kagura hid himself in the center of the vines. Would release. Would clone. Using the cover of the vines, Akahara Kagura quickly created a wood clone. Compared to other clone techniques, the wood clone was not much different from the shadow clone technique, and could also be used for attack. "Kid, do you think you can escape by hiding inside?" The mysterious masked man extended his palm and placed it on the giant vine sphere. The Mangekyo Sharingan in his eyes spun rapidly, and the space-time jutsu quickly activated. Ordinary ninjas might find it difficult to deal with Akahara Kagura's defense, but for the mysterious masked man, Kagura's actions were no different from an ostrich hiding in the sand, just deceiving himself. If he went into the vines to search, it might waste time, so the mysterious masked man simply absorbed the entire vine sphere, along with Akahara Kagura inside, into space. The giant vine sphere was completely absorbed by the mysterious masked man. Plan complete. The mysterious masked man casually glanced over the battlefield, looked at Naruto, who was still pinned to the ground, and then at Akahara Kagura, standing next to Uzumaki Naruto. Akahara Kagura? Wasn't this kid absorbed into space along with the vine sphere? The mysterious masked man suddenly widened his eyes, doubting what he had just done. How did this kid escape to Uzumaki Naruto's side? I've said it before. Akahara Kagura chuckled softly, his gaze turning to a leaping figure in the distance. I just need to buy time until reinforcements arrive. A white-haired ninja wearing a mask leaped in from afar, and other ANBU ninjas were also quickly converging towards this place. Reinforcements were about to arrive. What can another waste do? The mysterious masked man spoke harshly, but the Mangekyo Sharingan in his eyes spun rapidly, planning to slip away into space. Since Hatake Kakashi has already arrived, Akahara Kagura should no longer dare to harm the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. Let's spare Akahara Kagura this time. Just 3 seconds, the mysterious masked man could use the Kamui to escape. Boom! A vine on the ground stopped his movement. When I saw you just now, when you appeared using the space-time, it took 3 seconds. That's when I used the piercing technique to stab your body. I guess it would take at least 3 seconds for you to use the space-time ninjutsu to absorb yourself and escape, right? Akahara Kagura's fingers were crossed in front of his chest, his eyes carrying a devilish smirk. My would release only needs 1 hand seal, and the technique activates in at most 1 second. The mysterious masked man realized the problem for the first time. This kid was not as murderous and reckless as he had imagined. He even noticed such a small detail, and had already found one of his weaknesses. Don't be in a hurry to leave. Akahara Kagura, looking at the mysterious masked man, spoke with a smiling persuasion. Didn't you say that Captain Kakashi is useless? When I was under Lord Danzo, I always wanted to kill him. Can you help me do it? After saying this, Akahara Kagura didn't wait for the mysterious masked man to answer and shouted towards Hatake Kakashi, who was running over. Captain Kakashi, there's an intruder who sneaked into the village attempting to kill Naruto. Come, and help quickly. This kid... The mysterious masked man cursed softly. It was actually this kid who wanted to kill Uzumaki Naruto, and he appeared here to avoid the death of the Nine Tails. However, Hatake Kakashi wouldn't care about these. Hearing someone was attempting to kill Uzumaki Naruto, Hatake Kakashi's mood suddenly became tense, and he spotted the mysterious masked man. "Who are you?" Hatake Kakashi rushed towards the mysterious masked man and reached for the mask on his face, wanting to see who the person really was. The body of the mysterious masked man instantly became intangible. Hatake Kakashi's hand grasped at thin air. However, the most bizarre scene occurred. The mysterious masked man, who had seemingly dodged the attack, involuntarily widened his eyes as if he saw something terrifying. Within a strange space, every time the mysterious masked man's body becomes intangible, a part of his body or his entire physical form appears in this alternative space. All the items he absorbed with his Kamui, including enemies, are also placed in this space. For instance, a vine-wrapped sphere, or a wooden clone hidden inside the sphere. When the mysterious masked man becomes ethereal to avoid Kakashi's attack, his head appears in the Kamui dimension. Akihara Kagura's wooden clone stands in front of the mysterious masked man's head, ignoring the terrified eyes on it, and forcefully pulls off his mask. In the real world, the mysterious masked man's mask suddenly vanishes, as if it was abruptly yanked off by someone. Kakashi was initially surprised that his hand missed, but then he saw the mask fall off and glimpsed the true face of the mysterious masked man. You are... Chapter 51. Story of Kakashi, Obito, and Rin. You are... Hatake Kakashi's eyes trembled for a moment. Hatake Kakashi thought he had never seen the mysterious masked man before, yet he felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity, as if his brain was momentarily electrified and stuck on the impression of someone. This intruder looked too much like a comrade from his youth. Obito? Hatake Kakashi muttered subconsciously. The painful memories that Hatake Kakashi once dared not recall sprung up like bamboo shoots after rain, from the time he met and became acquainted with Uchiha Obito, until they became a team, until Uchiha Obito ultimately sacrificed himself and was buried by his own hands. These past memories continuously assaulted his brain, stimulating his nerves, as the image of the eternally smiling Uchiha boy slowly became fixed in reality. A young man about 20 years old, with short, tousled hair, a scar on the right side of his face, and a bizarre Mangekyo Sharingan in his right eye. His left face was unharmed, with a normal Sharingan in his left eye. Hatake Kakashi couldn't believe that the person before him was his former comrade, because the latter had two intact eyes, although they were asymmetrical. Hatake Kakashi also couldn't easily deny it, because the facial contours of the other person really resembled Uchiha Obito from his youth. If Uchiha Obito were still alive in this world, he would definitely look like the person in front of him at the age of 20. Damn kid. The mysterious masked man was still angry that his mask had been removed. The mysterious masked man never imagined that a kid using a simple wooden clone could directly unravel the technique of his prized Mangekyo Sharingan. With the cover of the mask, the mysterious masked man could pretend to be a significant figure in the ninja world, using that person's name to recruit followers. After all, the real identity of the mysterious masked man was just an insignificant figure. The Eye of the Moon plan had not yet officially commenced. If his true identity were exposed, it would severely affect his credibility, and even though he could resolve it with the power of the Mangekyo Sharingan, it would cause considerable trouble. As the mysterious masked man was greatly annoyed, he then saw the astonished face of Hatake Kakashi in front of him. Kakashi, the mysterious masked man, looking at Hatake Kakashi with even greater anger, stood up, kicked at Kakashi's chest, and sent him flying. A vine caught Hatake Kakashi. Akihara Kagura, seemingly unaware of anything, asked, "Captain Kakashi, do you know him? This person is from the Uchiha clan. Every time I mention you, he curses you as a waste. Do you two have some kind of grudge? Hatake Kakashi's hand was still trembling. If before Hatake Kakashi was just a bit suspicious, at this moment he was almost certain that the only Uchiha who had a connection with his life was this one. Should be, probably, it's someone I know. Hatake Kakashi's forehead slowly showed a drop of cold sweat, his gaze firmly fixed on the face revealed by the mysterious masked man. Obito, it's you, right? Humph. The mysterious masked man coldly snorted. This man behind the scenes, named Uchiha Obito, had no choice but to accept the reality that his mask had been lifted, but the anger in his heart only grew stronger. Have you recognized me? Kakashi? It's okay if you still want to call that name. Uchiha Obito simply admitted his true identity, continuing coldly. For me, the story of that name is already a thing of the past. You're still alive. Hatake Kakashi stared at the other person, dumbfounded. During the Third Ninja World War, Hatake Kakashi, along with Uchiha Obito and another comrade, went on a mission. Resulting in heavy losses for their team Hatake Kakashi's, I was blinded by an enemy, and Uchiha Obito was buried under rocks and near death. Before dying, Uchiha Obito gave one of his Sharingan eyes to Hatake Kakashi and entrusted him to take care of their other comrade clearly. At that time on the battlefield of Canopy Bridge, he had personally buried Uchiha Obito. Why had he come back to life now? Why wear a mask? Where had he been all these years? What had his life been like all these years? Why? Hatake Kakashi had many excuses in his mind and asked tremblingly, "Since you are not dead, why didn't you return to the village?" "It doesn't matter whether I am alive or not." Uchiha Obito spread his hands indifferently and said, "But yes, you would be most concerned about this issue. If I have to give a reason..." Uchiha Obito raised his arm, pointing at Hatake Kakashi, "because you did not save Rin." Cold sweat streamed down Hatake Kakashi's forehead. Rin, Noera Rin, their other companion. Hatake Kakashi felt breathless. At this moment, Kakashi finally understood why every time Akahara Kagura mentioned him, Uchiha Obito would curse him as waste before his death. Uchiha Obito entrusted him to take good care of their other companion, Rin. However, Kakashi did not take good care of Rin, nor was it a case of not saving her, but he killed Rin with his own hands. Kakashi remembered being awakened from nightmares in the middle of the night, remembering his palms that felt like they could never be washed clean because that hand pierced through Rin's chest. "Who is Rin?" Akahara Kagura suddenly asked this question, looking back and forth at the two people, as if he knew nothing about the past, right? Captain Kakashi didn't save that person named Rin. So Uchiha Obito, why are you still alive and didn't save Rin? Konoha ninjas are always late. A hint of pain flashed in Uchiha Obito's eyes. Konoha ninjas are always late. Even the once fastest ninja in the ninja world, Namake's Minato, the Yellow Flash, would be late. Uchiha Obito, once a ninja of Konoha, that day he was late too. The day in his life he should never have been late. "It's my fault." Hatake Kakashi's voice was obscure, and when he spoke, one could even see his trembling nerves, but he still tried hard to tell the truth. "Rin, it was my... You killed her." Uchiha Obito coldly helped him to state the truth. Uchiha Obito caressed his own eye socket and continued coldly, "I saw it. You killed Rin with your own hands. At that time, I thought I was in hell." When Uchiha Obito arrived, he saw the moment Kakashi killed Rin, saw his most trusted friend kill the person he loved the most. Hatake Kakashi's heart sank bit by bit, his lips mumbling, trying to say something more. At that time on Rin's body, "No need to explain, and don't worry, I won't blame you anymore." Uchiha Obito, perhaps having vented his anger, gradually calmed down and said, "If I have to say, it's the world's fault. The village, the ninjas, the wars. Rin who died, you who killed Rin, and me who barely survived. Everything in this false world is wrong." Chapter 52, Wooden Clone. Let's talk. This world is full of mistakes. Everyone seems to be living in hell. Because humanity will inevitably be dominated by desire and interest. Strife will never end, war will never stop, and the tragedy that befell Rin will always repeat itself. Even if Rin is revived at this time, what can be done? Rin will sooner or later be involved in the conflicts of the world's major powers and pulled into war. Uchiha Obito believes his thoughts have transcended the ninja world, yet the madness in his eyes becomes more and more apparent, and he feels increasingly calm. Only by using the Eye of the Moon plan to solve the fundamental problems of this world, freeing everyone from being dominated by their desires, can Rin's fate truly be changed. I won't let Rin's story repeat itself. Uchiha Obito extended his hands as if embracing his mission. I will recreate a new world, a world where Rin can exist forever. Hatake Kakashi could not understand the madness of Uchiha Obito. As a transmigrator, Akahara Kagura is clear about Uchiha Obito's thoughts and asks with interest, "In summary, you want to make the world peaceful, right? Do you have any plans?" "Humph." Of course. Uchiha Obito's voice suddenly stopped. Although Uchiha Obito thinks the Eye of the Moon plan is perfect, it might not be accepted by the majority in the ninja world. So before the plan is implemented, the details of the plan, even the strategy of collecting the tailed beast for the Eye of the Moon plan, must not be revealed to anyone to avoid alerting the ninja world. "Kid, are you trying to extract information?" Uchiha Obito narrowed his eyes slightly. "Not really." Akahara Kagura shook his head and even offered an apocalyptic plan. "Actually, I once thought of a great plan to make the world peaceful. Just eliminate all life in this world. An empty world will not produce any strife." "Kid, your idea is too extreme." Uchiha Obito coldly retorted. Hatake Kakashi also felt that Akahara Kagura's ideas were a bit outrageous. "This kid must have spent too much time around Danzo, right? I also thought of another plan." Akahara Kagura frowned and proposed a plausible plan for human elimination. The resources in the ninja world are limited, but the human population is constantly growing. Sooner or later, the resources will not be sufficient for everyone. If we periodically and randomly eliminate half of the population in the ninja world, we can ensure that there are enough resources for the remaining people to live a prosperous life. This plan is also extreme. Uchiha Obito directly interrupted Akahara Kagura, scornfully saying, "You kid, do you only know how to solve problems by killing?" This kid named Akahara Kagura is too insane, always thinking about solving problems through killing. He probably has never seen any high IQ plays. Uchiha Obito has always thought that the Eye of the Moon plan would not be accepted by the world, but he feels that compared to Akahara Kagura's plan, the Eye of the Moon plan is practically charity Akahara Kagura. Hatake Kakashi couldn't help but want to hold his forehead. His old friend Uchiha Obito has become a bit insane, and his new subordinate Akahara Kagura's ideas are even crazier. "So, your plan doesn't involve killing?" Akahara Kagura, curiously tilting his head, asked aloud, "Is it possible to change a world without bloodshed and sacrifice?" This time, Uchiha Obito didn't rebut. Not only did Uchiha Obito not rebut, but even Hatake Kakashi, who was always beside him, had to admit that Akahara Kagura made sense. "But my plan doesn't require." Uchiha Obito still decided to start explaining. However, at this moment, the pitcher plant monster that had been hiding underground couldn't stand it anymore and hurriedly contacted Uchiha Obito, fearing that he might divulge some information to Akahara Kagura. "Don't fall for the kid's trap." There was a hint of urgency in the voice of the pitcher plant monster. "Obito, get out of here quickly. The other reinforcements from Konoha are about to arrive." Uchiha Obito's face turned somewhat ugly. Could it be that he didn't want to leave? This kid named Akahara Kagura had already grasped his dojutsu weakness, and there was even one of his wooden clones in his own alternative space. The Mangekyo Sharingan's intangible ability couldn't be used, and fighting against Hatake Kakashi and Akahara Kagura would take a considerable amount of time. Even it might not be easy to win. I have no way to easily break free and leave. Uchiha Obito thought for a second. Uchiha Obito looked at Akahara Kagura and could only think of one move to deflect the trouble elsewhere. Kakashi, a word of advice, the kid next to you is dangerous. When I came here, he wanted to secretly kill Naruto. Do I need to sneak around to kill someone? Akahara Kagura immediately retorted, even turning the tables. You're the one who wanted to kill Naruto, aren't you? You killed Aburame Tatsuma too, and now you want to pin that on me. Can't you admit it? Hatake Kakashi wanted to believe his old friend, but what Akahara Kagura said was the truth. This kid was radical in his actions, openly calling for violence against everyone, even daring to take the blame for killing members of the Root, that black rod. Wasn't it you who stabbed it into Naruto? Akahara Kagura pointed at the black rod in Uzumaki Naruto's body, speaking coldly. If I hadn't arrived here in time, Naruto might have already been killed by you. Say whatever you want. Uchiha Obito felt he couldn't explain himself clearly. After achieving its purpose, it began to actively draw a big picture for its new boss. Today you expose your identity in Konoha, and Konoha will definitely search everywhere for your news. I happen to be a member of Konoha's Umbu, so I can pass on information to you at any time, letting you know Konoha's movements, because I was the first to find your trail and delayed your departure. Exposing your identity, the higher UPS of Konoha will definitely not suspect that I have any connection with you. They might even let me join the squad that is assigned to pursue you. Think about it. As long as I am an undercover agent for you, we can let the Konoha higher UPS know whatever you want them to know, what we don't want them to know. They will never find out. Such an undercover agent is indeed very tempting. Uchiha Obito unconsciously nodded his head. At this moment, he felt that what Akahara Kagura's wooden clone said made a lot of sense. The only thing that made Uchiha Obito uncomfortable was that if Akahara Kagura really became a successful Konoha undercover agent, it was all thanks to the achievements gained from Obito tonight, all right? Looking forward to our pleasant cooperation, Akahara Kagura's wooden clone slowly sat upright, smiling and said, What you should do now is to kidnap Uzumaki Naruto, making outsiders think you are the one who wanted to kill the Nine-Tails tonight, and take the blame for me. Akahara Kagura's wooden clone slowly said, You killed Aburame Tatsuma, making me take the blame. Now, wanting to recruit me as a subordinate and take the blame for me, it's only natural for me to have no grudges against you. Just right. After you leave, I can inform them about your secret involvement in the Nine-Tails disturbance. Anyway, this matter can't be hidden for long due to the Nine-Tails chakra riot inside Uzumaki Naruto, so it's better if I reveal it to gain more trust from Konoha. Uchiha Obito didn't really want to nod anymore. However, he also knew that what Akahara Kagura's wooden clone said was right. Contact me again after you leave. Akahara Kagura's wooden clone slowly sat upright and said, Now, use your most powerful wood release in battle. My main body will start to assist you in escaping Konoha. Chapter 54. Kagura, Smiley Face. Nothing should be wasted. Akahara Kagura is a person who lives thriftily. Even when Uchiha Obito was about to leave, he wanted him to use the wood release jutsu one last time in front of Hatake Kakashi to clear himself of the suspicion of killing Aburame Tatsuma. Uchiha Obito, however, did not think about these things, because at that time he just wanted to leave Konoha as soon as possible. The real world. Hatake Kakashi's battle was still fierce. Even after so many years, Hatake Kakashi still seemed like that genius. If it weren't for the enhancement of the Mangekyo Sharingan, Uchiha Obito might not be his match. Unfortunately, there are no what-ifs in the world. Uchiha Obito's body was almost always in a state of intangibility, making every one of Hatake Kakashi's forceful attacks miss. Akahara Kagura's assistance didn't seem that powerful either. It's impossible to attack his body. Hatake Kakashi's forehead was dripping with a bead of sweat. No matter whether he used taijutsu or ninjutsu, he was helpless against Uchiha Obito's intangible state. especially when Uchiha Obito nodded his head from time to time, as if he was commenting on his growth over the years, perhaps also confident that Hatake Kakashi was completely helpless against him. Of course, Hatake Kakashi didn't know that in this short period of time, Uchiha Obito had secretly hired someone in the Mangekyo Sharingan alternative space. After interviewing his new subordinate, Uchiha Obito quickly canceled his intangible state and returned to the real world, grabbing Hatake Kakashi's left wrist with one hand. Fool! Hatake Kakashi was not scared but pleasantly surprised. Swoosh! A shuriken appeared in Hatake Kakashi's left hand. With a light flick of two fingers, the shuriken flew towards Uchiha Obito's shoulder. As a genius ninja who participated in wars from a young age, Hatake Kakashi's shuriken throwing skill was extremely proficient, a technique not easily learned by other ninjas. Is that all you're capable of? Uchiha Obito's palm was still gripping Hatake Kakashi's wrist, just entering an intangible state in an instant. This is the terrifying aspect of Uchiha Obito's intangibility ability. The moment the body is about to be attacked, it can instantly become intangible. The cunning shuriken shot out by Hatake Kakashi, aiming to take advantage, passed through Uchiha Obito's shoulder like it was passing through air. You're a bit disheveled, Captain Kakashi. Akihara Kagura's voice suddenly came from the side. The young Umbu quickly flicked a wooden spike from his palm, stabbing towards Uchiha Obito. Hatake Kakashi struggled out of his restraints and quickly retreated back to Akihara Kagura's side, wanting to discuss tactics. Kagura, you take care of the attack. I will be responsible for fire release, great fireball technique. Another voice interrupted Hatake Kakashi's thoughts. Uchiha Obito quickly formed hand seals and spat out a huge fireball towards the direction of Hatake Kakashi and Akihara Kagura. Earth release, earth-style wall. Hatake Kakashi quickly formed seals and released a defensive jutsu. A wall carved with a dog's head emerged from the ground, blocking the fireball attack. The intense heat brought a gust of hot wind that blew through Kakashi's white hair. Still the same old tactics. Uchiha Obito looked disdainfully at the old stone wall ravaged by flames. The next moment, vines suddenly sprouted around him. Akihara Kagura stood next to Hatake Kakashi, fingers clasped together, maintaining the snake hand seal, frantically manipulating the vines to attack Obito's body. Uchiha Obito looked towards Akihara Kagura. The eyes of the young Umbu were still sharp, as if he was always the loyal Konoha ninja, making Uchiha Obito wonder if the interview scene he had just experienced was a dream, or if he was under a genjutsu. However, it was neither a dream nor a genjutsu, because Akihara Kagura suddenly tilted his head. This action made Uchiha Obito realize that the other party was reminding him to act according to the agreement with his wooden clone, rather than entangling with Hatake Kakashi. Here, Hatake Kakashi. This guy doesn't even know that the kid who has been fighting alongside him has already chosen to side with him. Uchiha Obito's palms also suddenly came together to form seals. Would release. Revolt of Hell. Thorny bushes grew out of the ground. These thorns spiraled and grew rapidly, converging into large trees covered with thorns, turning this place into a land of thorns that no one could approach. Akihara Kagura quickly retreated, avoiding the range of the Revolt of Hell. Akihara Kagura even manipulated the vines, wrapping around Hatake Kakashi's body and retreating together, rescuing his captain from the threat of Revolt of Hell. Thank you. Hatake Kakashi thanked Akihara Kagura for his intervention. Although Hatake Kakashi could have avoided the danger himself, this little guy was quick and had already saved him several times tonight, although he always pretended to be tough and wanted to kill him. He was not sloppy when it came to saving people. Obviously, Akihara Kagura was not a hopeless child. You're welcome. Akihara Kagura's face drooped, and he snorted coldly. I'm just worried that if you die, it would be a bit tricky for me to kill him alone. Hatake Kakashi did not speak. This kid really is stubborn. Clearly, you're not a match for Obito, right? Weren't you just stalling Obito? waiting for reinforcements to come and help. Akahara Kagura looked at the fierce and terrifying wood release. Revolt of Hell, seemingly unable to restrain himself from praising Uchiha Obito. He can even use wood release. This technique is not bad. I should find an opportunity to develop it myself. This technique could definitely kill many people. Hatake Kakashi frowned. What on earth had Uchiha Obito been through these years? Why does he possess the wood release Kekkai Genkai? How could an Uchiha have acquired wood release? It could only have been obtained through human experimentation, right? Who made him undergo would release human experimentation? After hearing Akahara Kagura's words, Hatake Kakashi felt that Akahara Kagura's way of thinking was too extreme, completely neglecting another matter. Hatake Kakashi slowly shook his head, voluntarily bringing up the topic. Kid, do you still remember someone killed Abraham Tatsuma and framed you? It's him. Akahara Kagura seemed to have just figured it out. He must be kept here. However, just as Akahara Kagura was quickly forming hand seals, seemingly wanting to stop Uchiha Obito, Obito's voice came through. If you take one more step forward. Uchiha Obito, standing on Naruto, spoke coldly. I'll kill Naruto. After all, this kid was lucky to have survived in the first place. Huh. Akahara Kagura looked at Uchiha Obito and scoffed. Do you think I care whether that kid lives or dies? As if you would spare Naruto if we stopped. Isn't your goal tonight to kill Naruto? Uchiha Obito didn't want to look at him. Uchiha Obito chose to look at Hatake Kakashi instead. Hatake Kakashi quickly pressed on Akahara Kagura's shoulder, fearing that Kagura would provoke Obito. Obito, don't be rash. No need for pointless talk. Akahara Kagura was still stubborn, speaking loudly. Whether you kill that kid or not, you can't escape tonight. I still have a lot of chakra to delay. Uchiha Obito's palm quickly formed a wooden spike. Akahara Kagura, follow the orders of your superiors. Hatake Kakashi quickly interrupted Akahara Kagura, turning back to Obito. Obito, let go of Naruto. I will let you leave here. Chapter 55. That Uchiha Obito guy. Sometimes, subordinates have to obey the orders of their superiors. Hatake Kakashi was very determined to protect Uzumaki Naruto, even at the cost of letting the dangerous Uchiha Obito escape. Akahara Kagura glanced at his captain, seemingly having no choice but to reluctantly agree with Hatake Kakashi's orders. Yet he stubbornly added, if Lord Danzo were here, he definitely wouldn't let this guy get away. Hatake Kakashi just slowly shook his head. Even if Shimura Danzo were here, he would still be threatened by Uchiha Obito, because Uzumaki Naruto, the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, is far more important than capturing an enemy. Letting an enemy escape gives us another chance to catch him. Hatake Kakashi took this opportunity to try to correct Akahara Kagura's thinking. If a comrade in the village dies, they can never be brought back. Kagura. A person who doesn't value their comrades is worse than trash. A look of confusion flashed across Akahara Kagura's face. Humph. Uchiha Obito's expression changed slightly, then quickly became indifferent again. He shook his head slowly, laughing mockingly. Kakashi, have you also learned to be hypocritical in Konoha? You, who killed Rin, can actually say such a thing. Hatake Kakashi's face suddenly turned somewhat pale. Humph. Uchiha Obito spread his palms, speaking with a sinister face. It's proven that in this fake world, whatever we say is always wrong. Uchiha Obito looked up, expressing his disdain for the world. In this fake world, ninjas should stop at nothing to achieve their goals. Obito? A hint of pain flashed in Hatake Kakashi's eyes. Because the person who said he cherished his comrades was Uchiha Obito, this once positive and upward-looking friend had completely abandoned his former path. Only in the real world does that phrase truly become meaningful. Uchiha Obito said coldly, grabbing the black rod stuck in Uzumaki Naruto, his Mangekyo Sharingan flashing a space-time vortex, pulling his body into the space-time vortex and disappearing without a trace. Goodbye, Kakashi, next time we meet, you won't be so lucky. Hatake Kakashi watched his disappearance. Not until Uchiha Obito left did Hatake Kakashi take a deep breath, slowly lowering his head. Obito, is it now my turn to save you? The resurrection of a former comrade was a big deal for Hatake Kakashi, filling his once empty heart slowly. The deviation of a former comrade was also a big deal for Hatake Kakashi, letting him know that his life was no longer without purpose. Captain Kakashi. Akahara Kagura looked at the somewhat dejected Hatake Kakashi, first throwing him an accusation. Since the enemy was let go by you, why don't we go check on that kid Naruto? After all, I've also had ramen with him. Hatake Kakashi slowly nodded. In fact, Uzumaki Naruto's injury was not serious. Although Uzumaki Naruto's body was pierced, when they wanted to take him to the hospital, the little guy's body had already healed. Hatake Kakashi seemed to know something about Uzumaki Naruto's situation, murmuring softly, the healing ability of the Nine-Tails chakra? Or is it the Uzumaki clans? What should we do? Akahara Kagura looked at Uzumaki Naruto, who was about to wake up, and continued to ask, do we still take him to the hospital now? I think this little guy is probably fine. Why don't we take him to have a bowl of Ichiraku ramen first? I remember he didn't have dinner. Ramen. Upon hearing the word ramen, Uzumaki Naruto instantly woke up. This little guy completely forgot that he was attacked, and even had a Nine-Tails chakra outburst, and said with a delighted face, is someone treating me to ramen? Kagura, are you going to treat me to ramen? Let me think. Akahara Kagura seemed to be in a good mood. After pondering for a while, he turned to his captain. Captain Kakashi, can we have the bill sent to Umbu from Tucci, the handmade noodle master? Let's wait a bit. Hatake Kakashi shook his head and explained softly, first, we need to meet with the third Hokage and report tonight's events. Whether it was Uzumaki Naruto, the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki encountering danger, or the village hero Uchiha Obito coming back to life as a rogue ninja, both were significant events. Tonight's events couldn't be hidden, and there were many follow-up troubles. Hatake Kakashi must report to the third Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen. Additionally, Hatake Kakashi also wanted to probe a bit, who conducted the would-release human experiments on Uchiha Obito, who colluded with Uchiha Obito. This would be key to finding Obito in the future. Eating first is also fine. Akahara Kagura felt a bit hungry and repeated the most crucial issue of the night. Captain Kakashi, since you let the enemy go, the report can wait, right? I've been hungry for a long time today. Uzumaki Naruto rubbed his growling stomach, weakly searching his body for something. Where did you guys throw the mushrooms I picked on the mountain? That was my hard-found dinner. I didn't see them. Akahara Kagura spread his hands indifferently and said, they must have been crushed by that guy named Uchiha Obito. I'll treat you to ramen. A black line appeared on Hatake Kakashi's forehead. Hatake Kakashi could only take Akahara Kagura and Uzumaki Naruto to the Ichiraku ramen restaurant, planning to quietly ask them about Uchiha Obito on the way. After all, these two people were the first to discover Uchiha Obito. Treating them to a bowl of ramen might be nice after all. Both of them are victims. Especially Akahara Kagura, this somewhat extreme kid, is likely to cause trouble whenever something displeases him. As for Uzumaki Naruto, Hatake Kakashi couldn't help but reach out and stroke the little blonde's head. This child probably doesn't understand who the person who wanted to harm him tonight really is, right? However, Akahara Kagura understands what Uchiha Obito, who appeared tonight, means to Uzumaki Naruto. When Akahara Kagura was about to reach the noodle shop, he suddenly said, oh, right, Captain Kakashi, I just remembered something. You say... Hatake Kakashi nodded. Akahara Kagura slowly began. When Uzumaki Naruto saw him, a violent chakra burst forth from his body. Hatake Kakashi signaled him to continue. Hatake Kakashi knew that the violent chakra that erupted from Uzumaki Naruto was the Nine-Tails chakra. Has the seal of the Nine-Tails chakra been broken? That's a bit troublesome, however. Akihara Kagura's next words made Hatake Kakashi feel that the leakage of the Nine-Tails chakra was not much of a problem. That guy named Uchiha Obito, the enemy Captain Kakashi, decided to let go. After emphasizing it once, Akihara Kagura continued, when Uchiha Obito saw the violent chakra, he admitted that he was the one who created the Nine-Tails disturbance 6 years ago. Chapter 56. Just Do It. In the Ichiraku ramen shop, Uzumaki Naruto and Akihara Kagura are slurping ramen noisily. After finishing a bowl of ramen, Akihara Kagura even signals the handmade shop owner to serve another bowl, as if he hadn't just had a conversation with Hatake Kakashi. Shop owner, another bowl, please. Akihara Kagura glances at Hatake Kakashi, who is motionless beside him, and proactively shows concern for his superior. Captain Kakashi, after battling for so long, aren't you hungry? Hatake Kakashi can't eat. Kakashi even feels restless. When the young Akihara Kagura mentioned that Uchiha Obito was the culprit behind the Nine-Tails disturbance, Hatake Kakashi somewhat regretted letting Obito go too easily, thinking he should have clarified this matter with Obito first. Naruto, eat quickly. Akihara Kagura urges Uzumaki Naruto, saying, we have to meet the third Hokage after this. Let's inform him about tonight's events early, so as not to disturb the old man's rest. Uzumaki Naruto nods repeatedly. You two don't need to rush. Hatake Kakashi speaks softly, comforting them both. Hatake Kakashi still hasn't decided how to report tonight's events to the third Hokage. Moreover, if the third Hokage learns about what happened tonight, will the old man even be able to sleep? The handmade shop owner looks at Akihara Kagura and Uzumaki Naruto, who are devouring their food, and then at Hatake Kakashi, who is unable to eat. Did something happen? Nothing much. Hatake Kakashi shook his head, not wanting to bring it up. We found the culprit behind the Nine-Tails disturbance. Akihara Kagura was nonchalantly boasting about their achievement tonight. What? The handmade shop owner widened his eyes in shock. Standing next to the handmade shop owner, Ayam couldn't help but lean in, looking at them with a face full of surprise. Did you catch that person? No. Akihara Kagura shook his head and continued to pin the blame on Kakashi. But it seems that the culprit was a former comrade of Captain Kakashi, and Captain Kakashi let him go. The handmade shop owner was even more shocked. Ayam also opened her mouth in amazement. Hatake Kakashi's forehead twitches uncontrollably. This guy shouldn't make things sound so simple when he talks. It was all for protecting Naruto, this little guy. How could it be twisted into him abusing his power for personal gain when coming from this kid's mouth? Hatake Kakashi moved closer to Akihara Kagura and warned in a low voice, don't just tell half the story when you speak. And also, don't casually disclose Umbu's intelligence. Hatake Kakashi looked at the still shocked and curious handmade shop owner and his daughter and added, the truth of this matter is still unclear, and it's not as you imagine. Oh. The handmade shop owner slowly nodded his head. For many years, the handmade shop owner has watched Hatake Kakashi grow up and trusts in Hatake Kakashi's character. Hence, he did not pursue the matter further. However, while Hatake Kakashi could conceal things from the villagers, he couldn't hide them from the third Hokage, as he couldn't prevent Akihara Kagura from reporting to higher-ups. At the residence of the third Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen had already awakened. Due to the chaotic battle zone caused by Hatake Kakashi, Akihara Kagura, and Uchiha Obito, someone had already reported the matter to Sarutobi Hiruzen. Of particular concern was the trace of the Nine-Tails chakra leakage. When Hatake Kakashi arrived with Uzumaki Naruto and Akihara Kagura, a group of Umbu were already guarding the entrance of Sarutobi Hiruzen's house. Under the guise of a physical examination, Sarutobi Hiruzen checked Uzumaki Naruto's nine-tailed seal and, confirming there were no issues with the seal, ordered the Umbu ninjas to escort the young boy home. What followed was the inquiry about the night's events. Sarutobi Hiruzen, with a calm demeanor, seemed unshakable by any major event. What happened? Did enemies infiltrate the village tonight, wanting to abduct Naruto? No. Hatake Kakashi slowly shook his head, reporting in a standard manner, tonight, the village's rogue ninja, Uchiha Obito, secretly infiltrated the village, attempting to kill Uzumaki Naruto. Fortunately, Umbu Akahara Kagura noticed his presence and protected Naruto's safety. Uchiha Obito, As Sarutobi Hiruzen spoke, he picked up his pipe. The old man had just struck a match when he suddenly stopped, his eyes widening in disbelief. Uchiha Obito, I remember that child from the Battle of the Canopy Bridge. Obito is not dead. Hatake Kakashi shook his head, explaining solemnly, I personally buried his body, but somehow Obito came back to life. His Mangekyo Sharingan has acquired a miraculous dojutsu, able to evade any attack, and he even mastered would release Kekkai Genkai. There's another matter. It's said that when Naruto saw Obito, the Nine Tails chakra suddenly leaked out. Additionally, Umbu Akahara Kagura claims that Obito admitted to being responsible for the Nine Tails rampage in the village 6 years ago. This matter is still uncertain. After Hatake Kakashi explained, he continued, considering the age, Uchiha Obito was probably around 13 or 14 years old at that time. This was the most doubtful point. After all, theoretically, a boy of only 13 or 14 might not have the capability to create a disaster as massive as the Nine Tails Rebellion, especially since Konoha had such formidable figures as the fourth Hokage Minato at that time. It's indeed hard to judge the truth of this matter. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded in agreement with Hatake Kakashi's words and continued to ask, Kakashi, you were once Uchiha Obito's comrade. Do you know why he didn't return to the village after his resurrection and instead became a rogue ninja? Possibly because of Rin's incident. Hatake Kakashi slowly lowered his head. Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed and comforted his subordinate. We already know the whole story about Noira Rin's incident. Rin chose to sacrifice herself to protect the village. This isn't your fault, Kakashi. Lord Hokage. Hatake Kakashi knelt on one knee and made his request. I want to actively pursue Uchiha Obito's whereabouts. That's fine. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded in approval. Uchiha Obito was a dangerously ideologically rogue ninja, intending to assassinate the Nine Tails Jinchuriki in the village. This matter indeed could not be ignored. In the entire Konoha, there might be no one more suitable than Hatake Kakashi to track down Uchiha Obito because of the past bonds between them. I'll go too. Akahara Kagura stood behind Hatake Kakashi and clenched his fist tightly. That guy escaped from my hands. I must kill him. Sarutobi Hiruzen immediately fell silent. After pondering for a while, the old man's voice slowly became somewhat calmer. Kakashi, let Kagura be your assistant. It just so happens that he is your subordinate. Hatake Kakashi raised his head in confusion. However, Sarutobi Hiruzen's attitude gradually became more resolute, even proactively providing them with a way to investigate Uchiha Obito. Uchiha Obito has awakened would release on his body. Theoretically, only the cells of the first Hokage have the chance to awaken would release. You can go and check the village's records of would release experiments again. When Orochimaru defected, the Umbu sealed all of Orochimaru's underground labs in the village, as well as the records of his unauthorized experiments. Toward the end, Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes revealed a deeply meaningful look. Go look at those records, find some clues. Chapter 57. Go to Memorial Stone at the middle of the night. Tonight is destined to be a night of harvest. The third Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, had a night of poor quality sleep. Hatake Kakashi, received news that his dear friend Uchiha Obito was still alive. Uchiha Obito reaped the most. He gained a powerful subordinate, Akahara Kagura, as well as the opportunity to live in the world again under his true identity. Even Naruto, the little rascal, managed to scrounge a meal. As for Akahara Kagura, an ordinary employee, he received a new work assignment and a newcomer's welcome package from his new superior. System prompt. New work assignment. Assist Ataki Kakashi in gathering intelligence on the rogue ninja Uchiha Obito from Konoha, assigned by the third Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen. Tasks assigned by the superior always seem to be about execution, without questioning the results, yet they invariably require successful outcomes. By comparison, Akahara Kagura quite likes his new superior. System prompt. You have a new superior, Uchiha Obito. Reward. Newcomer's welcome package. Unlocking new trait, Iabon Right. Iabon Right. The legendary Mangekyo Sharingan. Despite being only the right eye, it possesses unimaginable Dojutsu power for mortals. System prompt. Initiating Mangekyo Sharingan awakening based on the host's inner, while Dojutsu awakening was successful. Iabon Right has been replaced with a new trait, Mangekyo Sharingan Right. System prompt. The host has collected both Iabons, Mangekyo Sharingan Left and Mangekyo Sharingan Right, enhancing Dojutsu power significantly. Traits combined and strengthened into the new trait, Mangekyo Sharingan. Mangekyo Sharingan possesses strong observational, copying, and hypnotic abilities, enhances observational skills, strengthens the ability to cast and see through illusions, can copy physical techniques and non-bloodline ninjutsu, and even hypnotize tailed beasts. The left eye Dojutsu is Tsukuyumi. The right eye Dojutsu is Kamui. The ultimate Dojutsu is Limited Tsukuyumi, a Dojutsu within the Mangekyo Sharingan. When used on an enemy, it creates a new illusionary world based on the enemy's life and the host's will. The enemy's real body is drawn into the illusionary world using space-time powers. If the enemy cannot escape the fate of the illusionary world or defeat the host, they will be lost in the illusionary world forever. Limited Tsukuyumi enhancement. With both eyes enhanced, the host can control everything in the illusionary world of Tsukuyumi and enter or leave while using space-time powers. Limited Yomi, a Dojutsu within the Mangekyo Sharingan, used by the host on themselves. After activating Yomi, all injuries suffered by the host will turn into a dream and disappear after 10 minutes. Each use of Yomi consumes a significant amount of Dojutsu power. Limited Yomi enhancement. With both eyes enhanced, the host can freely control the duration of Yomi up to a maximum of 10 minutes, with a 3-second interval between continuous uses. Susanoo, the ultimate Dojutsu of the Mangekyo Sharingan, materializes massive chakra into a formidable warrior for combat. An ultimate Dojutsu that is both offensive and defensive, growing in stages with the user's Dojutsu power, currently at the first stage. System prompt. 1. To use Limited Tsukuyumi and Yomi, the host needs at least SS level chakra. 2. Excessive use of Limited Tsukuyumi and Yomi will lead to the exhaustion of the Mangekyo Sharingan's Dojutsu power and blindness. 3. The Hashirama cells in the host's body will significantly reduce the Dojutsu power consumption of the Mangekyo Sharingan. 4. After the host's Mangekyo Sharingan advances to the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, it will greatly enhance the ultimate Dojutsu Susanoo. The Mangekyo Sharingan in both eyes possesses some strange power. Akahara Kagura touched his own eye sockets. The technique in his left eye is a Limited Tsukuyumi, which is understandable. After receiving the blessing of both eyes, he could freely enter a certain illusionary world, meaning that he could also learn to hide in another space like his new superior, Uchiha Obito. As for the technique in his right eye, it's the Limited Yomi. Akahara Kagura felt that this technique, which turns the injuries one receives into a dream, seemed a bit like a forbidden technique called Izanagi. Izanagi, the ultimate forbidden technique of the Uchiha clan, can turn injuries into dreams, but the duration is not very long. After using it, one of the Sharingan will go blind. The limited Yomi shouldn't go blind. That's also normal. After all, both of his superiors are quite adept at using the forbidden technique Izanagi. For example, Shimura Danzo, the old superior, is an expert in using Izanagi. Could it be that because he has always been too loyal to Shimura Danzo, his right eye awakened a technique similar to Izanagi? I want to see Lord Danzo now. Akihara Kagura sighed softly when he left the house of the third Hokage. Do you want to report about Obito to Shimura Danzo? Hatake Kakashi felt that Akihara Kagura's idea was somewhat dangerous. Once Shimura Danzo knew about this, that guy had always coveted the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan. There was not much he could do in the village, but now that he knows about a rogue ninja from the Uchiha clan, Shimura Danzo would definitely send someone to hunt down Uchiha Obito immediately. Information from the Umbu cannot be leaked casually. Even if Shimura Danzo is the Hokage's advisor, it's not allowed. Hatake Kakashi shook his head, trying to dissuade Akihara Kagura. Moreover, the truth about Obito hasn't been clarified yet. No, I don't just want to report these. Akihara Kagura shook his head and sighed. I just feel that life in the Umbu is a bit hard, and I want to return to Lord Danzo's route. The third Hokage is unfair in his rewards and punishments. Tonight we did so much, and we can't even rest a bit. But I have to continue researching with you initially. Lord Danzo even taught me 2 powerful would-release jutsu, and rewarded me with a personal training ground. Hatake Kakashi fell silent for a moment. Over the years of his career in the Umbu, Hatake Kakashi had seen many newcomers, but he had never seen anyone like Akihara Kagura. How could a member of the Umbu still be seeking treatment and rewards? I will report and apply to the Hokage. Hatake Kakashi looked at the young Umbu member beside him and couldn't help asking again. Wait, I remember. Wasn't it you who actively wanted to join me in investigating Uchiha Obito? Because I have to watch you. Akihara Kagura stated his attitude directly and spoke nonchalantly. Lest Captain Kakashi let his past comrades go again, that guy mocked me for being extreme in my actions, but I really wanted to kill him. Actually, you little kid, you are the most extreme. Hatake Kakashi knew he couldn't say the second half of his thought aloud. To avoid an immediate internal conflict in their small team investigating Uchiha Obito. I want to go to the memorial stone first. Hatake Kakashi suddenly proposed to go to the cemetery in the back mountain of Konoha. Let's go together. I have to watch you. Akihara Kagura planned to follow Hatake Kakashi to see, and also suggested, in the middle of the night, are we going to dig up Uchiha Obito's grave? Chapter 58. People are mourning, but Kagura and Obito are conspiring. Behind the Konoha village. As a hero of the Konoha, Uchiha Obito had his own grave. Since Hatake Kakashi couldn't find the body initially, he erected a cenotaph for Uchiha Obito in the village, right beside the grave of another companion, Noera Rin. I'll go and pay respects to Rin myself. When Hatake Kakashi arrived at the graveyard, he stopped Akihara Kagura's steps, seemingly afraid that Akihara Kagura might dig up Uchiha Obito's cenotaph. This kid is not bad, but he is too extreme in his actions. Digging up Uchiha Obito's grave is something Hatake Kakashi felt Akihara Kagura really might do. All right then, Akihara Kagura could only stop at the edge of the forest. The moonlight in the sky was bright. Hatake Kakashi stood in front of 2 tombstones. One was Noera Rin's, and the other was Uchiha Obito's. Rin, Obito has been alive all this time. Hatake Kakashi lowered his head, gazing at Noera Rin's tombstone, and spoke softly about tonight's events. Perhaps he has also visited you. Before, it was he who saved me, and this time, it should be my turn to save him. At the edge of the forest, Akihara Kagura, feeling something, quietly retreated under a tree, hiding his figure in the darkness. Why are you here? A dark figure stood under the tree, glanced at Akihara Kagura, who approached, then looked back at Hatake Kakashi, who came to pay respects. Of course, to dig up your grave. Akihara Kagura's face revealed a light smile, saying, "Worthy of being the boss I've just sided with. Such courage. I thought you had escaped." This dark figure was Uchiha Obito. Nobody expected that after just revealing his identity and causing such chaos in the Konoha, he didn't flee but instead hid again in the Konoha village. This time, Uchiha Obito had intended to speak in front of Rin's tombstone, as tonight he finally took off his mask. However, Hatake Kakashi, that guy, has also arrived. Akihara Kagura, this kid, followed too, and even had the audacity to meet with me almost right under Hatake Kakashi's nose. "You kid." Uchiha Obito's eyes revealed a hint of displeasure. He didn't like this kid much, but had to admit that the kid had guts. Uchiha Obito, not caring that Akihara Kagura had just joined the company, immediately started asking about his work progress. "After I left, was there any movement in Konoha?" "A little, but not much." Akihara Kagura smiled and reported, "Captain Kakashi took the initiative to take on the task of pursuing you, and I am responsible for assisting him." "Humph." Uchiha Obito scoffed disdainfully and began to belittle his old friend. "So it's you assisting him? It seems Kakashi's luck is still as bad as ever." Hatake Kakashi's luck has always been poor. Ever since he was young, people around Hatake Kakashi always kept leaving. And now, having Akihara Kagura by his side was just having a spy hiding in plain sight. Captain Kakashi's luck can't be that bad, right? Akihara Kagura smiled, not quite agreeing with Uchiha Obito. Tonight, Captain Kakashi's life should start to rebound from rock bottom, and in the future, his life is definitely going to be on an upward trajectory. All right, let's get back to business. Uchiha Obito was non-committal to this. With you as a spy, how can Kakashi expect his luck to rebound? All right, then. Akihara Kagura could only sigh helplessly and said softly, "I originally planned to tell you about what Captain Kakashi's information got a bit later. We are going to the Konoha records room to check the records of human experiments with Hashirama cells. There should be a lot of information in the Konoha records room, so I guess it will take some time to search. This includes the records of Orochimaru's unauthorized experiments in the village before his defection. See if we can find any traces of Hashirama cells implanted in you during your time in Konoha." "Konoha's archives?" Upon hearing this, Uchiha Obito sneered. "You don't really think you can find records of my transplant of Hashirama cells in the Konoha archives, do you? Such foolishness. It's impossible to find out." Uchiha Obito knew very well that he did not receive the Hashirama cell transplant in Konoha, as the person who helped him with the transplant was an influential figure beyond the imagination of the entire ninja world. "Hearing you say that," after shaking his head, Akihara Kagura suddenly looked up intently at Uchiha Obito. "There probably won't be any traces of you in the Konoha archives." "Humph." Uchiha Obito didn't respond. After all, Akihara Kagura had just allied with him tonight, and he couldn't fully trust this kid yet, naturally unwilling to reveal his secrets. The two under the tree fell silent. Akihara Kagura and Uchiha Obito each turned their heads, looking towards Hatake Kakashi, who was still paying tribute to the tombstone in the distance. Hatake Kakashi continued to talk about his future plans to retrieve Uchiha Obito, even mentioning Akihara Kagura in front of Noira Rin's tombstone, completely unaware that his subordinate and his old friend were meeting right here. This scene inevitably it felt a bit eerie. If Hatake Kakashi ever found out that Akihara Kagura and Uchiha Obito were conspiring together at this moment, it's hard to imagine what his expression would be. "I should leave now." Uchiha Obito's figure quietly entered a space-time vortex, coldly saying, "When I need you to do something, I will contact you. You'd better become a rogue ninja soon, and I will tell you the plans that interest you." "All right." Akihara Kagura nonchalantly nodded. This new boss wasn't much either, not only failing to discuss salary and treatment with him, but also lacking a work plan, and even expecting him to defect from Konoha. This wasn't very good. Konoha is indeed a wonderful place. I must find a way to let Uchiha Obito know the immense help a spy in Konoha could offer him, even if it means creating some trouble for Uchiha Obito. After a while, Hatake Kakashi came over, seemingly having adjusted his mindset after talking in front of his companion's tombstone. Sorry to keep you waiting. It wasn't long. Akihara Kagura's attitude became friendlier, and he even proactively offered some information. While I was thinking here, I suddenly remembered something. Aburame Tatsuma was killed by Uchiha Obito. His last mission was in the Mist Village. Is there a possibility that Uchiha Obito is hiding in the Mist Village? Hatake Kakashi's expression suddenly changed. This news instantly reminded Hatake Kakashi of something. If Uchiha Obito has been seeking revenge on Konoha for Noura Rin's death, then he must also be targeting the Mist Village. The Mist Village was the source of Rin's sacrifice. Back then, the Mist Village implanted the Three Tails into Noura Rin, turning her into an uncontrollable and highly dangerous Jinchuriki. This forced Rin to ask Kakashi to kill her, to prevent the Three Tails from causing chaos in Konoha. Thank you. Hatake Kakashi sincerely thanked Akihara Kagura, then continued. If there are no records about Obito in Konoha's archives, then we'll infiltrate the Mist Village. You're welcome. Akihara Kagura smiled, leisurely adding, Anyway, I'm your subordinate. It's only right that I help you. Consider it a thank you for the ramen you treated me to tonight. Chapter 59. Captain Kakashi, I can't because of the orphanage dean. The Konoha Village archive room. The shelves were stacked with all sorts of strange scrolls. Hatake Kakashi had been here before. When he first encountered Tenzo, the first would release ninja, he had sneaked into the archive room to investigate and was somewhat familiar with it. It was Akihara Kagura's first time here. Akihara Kagura had always known that they wouldn't find any traces of Uchiha Obito here and had no real interest in researching. He was just casually flipping through the materials. Hatake Kakashi's movements of examining the scrolls suddenly stopped, and he looked towards Akihara Kagura. There should be some information here that interests you. What kind of information? About the inflow and outflow of materials from some laboratories. Hatake Kakashi tossed a scroll in his hand to Akihara Kagura and pointed to a row of scrolls in front of him, continuing, Do you want to come over and check? Oh! Akihara Kagura showed a bit more interest. However, when Akihara Kagura picked up a scroll, he realized the problem. These were some complications left behind when Orochimaru defected from the Konoha village. July 3rd, need 11 test subjects, 1 ton of human cultivation liquid and medicinal herbs, 20 valves, 15 experimental protective glass covers. Delivered, signed by Ding. July 9th, need 5 test subjects, 100 test tubes, 20 beakers, 1 generator, 300 meters of wire. Delivered, signed by Ding. August 16th, needs 60 test subjects, 100 test tubes, 10 tons of human cultivation liquid and medicinal herbs, 60 chakra test papers. Delivered, signed by Aburame Tatsuma. November 17th, need 10 ninja test subjects, 100 test tubes, 10 tons of human cultivation liquid and medicinal herbs, a pair of Sharingan. Delivered, Sharingan currently unavailable, signed by Aburame Tatsuma. In theory, there should be more data. Hatake Kakashi, frowning, continued. Orochimaru might have thought about defecting long ago. Most of the data in the lab was destroyed by him. Only these are left. Only 4 documents remained here, 2 of which bore the name of Aburame Tatsuma, and the other 2 bore the name of someone named Ding, a member of the Root. These documents indicate it seems that all along, it has been the Root members who have been sending experimental materials to Orochimaru. Akihara Kagura, seemingly oblivious, slowly began to speak. Out of the 4 documents, 3 are about test tubes. That guy named Orochimaru has broken quite a few test tubes. Hatake Kakashi's eyes twitched. Is this kid focusing on the wrong things? What a hassle. In fact, Akihara Kagura had already realized something. The reason why Saratobi Hiruzen asked Hatake Kakashi to bring him to the data room to look for information was precisely to let him discover the true nature of Shimura Danzo. Saratobi Hiruzen wanted him to find out that Danzo's root has been providing experimental materials to Orochimaru all along, making him realize that the tragic childhood he spoke of was caused by Danzo, and there was no need to remain loyal to him. Unfortunately, all those tragedies were fake. This so-called evidence of Danzo supporting Orochimaru in illegal human experiments was nothing to Akahara Kagura, because he is the biggest evidence of Danzo's collusion with the S-Class rogue ninja Orochimaru from Konoha still exists. These documents seem quite unfavorable to Lord Danzo. Akahara Kagura, seemingly displeased, spoke nonchalantly. "It's just the two of us here. Let's take these away for now. They're not that important anyway. We can't take away documents from the lab's data room." Hatake Kakashi shook his head, not allowing Akahara Kagura to destroy the evidence. "These are all evidence of Shimura Danzo's past collusion with Orochimaru. Captain Kakashi," Akahara Kagura sighed and said, "you should know, and so does the third Hokage, that I am fiercely loyal to Lord Danzo, yet he still let me see this so-called evidence. Perhaps it's to have me hand them over to Lord Danzo for disposal." Hatake Kakashi frowned. Why do I suddenly feel that there's some truth in what Kagura is saying? Initially, when Shimura Danzo sent someone to assassinate the third Hokage, he still received the third Hokage's magnanimous forgiveness. What more for just having had a bit of collusion with Orochimaru? The third Hokage also had good intentions. Akahara Kagura, with a tone beyond his years, sighed deeply, gathering several scrolls to eventually hand over to Shimura Danzo. Perhaps the Hokage's intention wasn't like that. Hatake Kakashi's thoughts were more complex. Hatake Kakashi remembered how he was once deceived by Shimura Danzo, almost betraying the third Hokage. It was here in the Konoha's archives that he learned the truth. What good intentions could the third Hokage have? Was it clearly a scheme to make Akahara Kagura and Shimura Danzo turn against each other? "Kid, aren't you angry?" Hatake Kakashi, watching Akahara Kagura's actions, couldn't help but ask. "Back then you were also sent to Shimura Danzo as an experimental subject. What's the use?" After putting away the evidence scrolls, Akahara Kagura spoke calmly. "I had noticed some clues. What I hated the most was the days of living as an experimental subject in my childhood, not knowing if I would survive each day. But I have no way of turning back now." Akahara Kagura looked deeply at Hatake Kakashi and continued, "Even if Lord Danzo treats me as a tool for murder, I will never betray him. I'll be even colder and more ruthless than he expects. My origins dictate that I can never leave Lord Danzo." "You're just an innocent kid." Hatake Kakashi felt that the kid was somewhat slow to understand and reminded him, looking at these pieces of evidence, "You were probably also sent by Shimura Danzo to Orochimaru as an experimental subject, and now you've joined the Umbu." "Captain Kakashi," Akihara's Kagura interrupted Hatake Kakashi with a cold voice, saying, "The dean of the Konoha orphanage, Yakushi Nono, is still under the command of Lord Danzo. We are different. I can't abandon someone who is more important to me for my own sake. I've always wanted to kill Tenzo. It's not just to please Lord Danzo. It's also because I'm jealous of his freedom from attachments. I'm also jealous of someone who can take him away from the root." Hatake Kakashi remained silent for a while, then buried his head in continuing his research. He understood the difficulties faced by Akahara Kagura, and also realized the extreme nature of this kid's character. If it weren't for Shimura Danzo, wouldn't this kid also be a bright and kind person? Even with the threat of Shimura Danzo, this kid's heart still harbors that kindness. While searching through the scroll information, Hatake Kakashi pondered how he should report tonight's events to the third Hokage, Saratobi Hiruzen, hoping that the third Hokage would be willing to rescue Yakushi Nono from the root, which could also save Akahara Kagura. There are no traces of Obito here. After reviewing all the information about Hashirama cells, Hatake Kakashi looked towards Akahara Kagura, who was somewhat distracted and said, "I will report to the Hokage and also apply for us to leave Konoha for a reconnaissance mission in the Mist Village. I want to rest for a while." Akahara's Kagura feigned to touch his ninja tool bag. That ninja tool bag contained the incriminating evidence against Shimura Danzo. Anyone who saw Akahara Kagura's action would immediately realize that he was using rest as a pretext to meet Shimura Danzo. Chapter 60. Danzo is moved. In the early morning, Hatake Kakashi and Akahara Kagura left the Konoha archives. One lifted his head towards the direction of the Hokage's office, while the other lowered his head towards the direction of the root base. Inside the Hokage's office, Sarutobi Hiruzen started work very early. He believed that something might happen today. The evidence in the Konoha archives regarding Shimura Danzo's support of Orochimaru's illegal human experimentation was placed there by Sarutobi Hiruzen himself. Sarutobi Hiruzen guessed that Akahara Kagura might confront Shimura Danzo, but he didn't expect that Hatake Kakashi's report would also involve Yakushi Nono. This child, Akahara Kagura, was he actually threatened because of Yakushi Nono? Yakushi Nono. I remember she is a member of the village's intelligence department. Sarutobi Hiruzen recalled this woman, Yakushi Nono. Yakushi Nono, who always moved around the ninja world under the guise of the wandering Miko, had provided Konoha with much valuable intelligence, but she never liked being a spy. Shimura Danzo blackmailed Yakushi Nono with the funding of Konoha's orphanage to continue her espionage, providing intelligence on other ninja villages. Sarutobi Hiruzen was very aware of this. This is the darkness of the village. This is what Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't bring himself to do, leaving it to Shimura Danzo to act. Konoha couldn't just have the warmth of the sun. It also inevitably had dark shadows. For now, let's not deal with this matter. Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't let Shimura Danzo's work come to a halt. He knew that assigning Akahara Kagura to the Umbu had already angered Shimura Danzo, and doing anything more would inevitably displease him. If he could extract Yakushi Nono from the root, it would indeed free Akahara Kagura from Shimura Danzo's clutches. But that petty-minded Shimura would probably go mad, of course. There's one more thing. Sarutobi Hiruzen hadn't told Hatake Kakashi. Since there was already a conflict between Shimura Danzo and Akahara Kagura, according to Sarutobi Hiruzen's understanding of his old friend, he didn't need to do much. They would eventually fall apart. At the root base, when Akahara Kagura arrived, the two gatekeepers dared not stop him again. When Shimura Danzo saw Akahara Kagura, he was very puzzled as to why Akahara Kagura would come to see him, especially since they had just met yesterday. This kid, could it be that he has some information to report? Is that likely? Would Hiruzen let him see something confidential? Akahara Kagura knew what Shimura Danzo was interested in, and started by mentioning Uchiha Bito. Last night, while I was patrolling the back hills, I discovered the rogue ninja of the village, Uchiha Bito, sneaking in, intending to kill Uzumaki Naruto. Uchiha Bito? Shimura Danzo's face was filled with surprise and disbelief. Isn't that guy supposed to have died during the Great Ninja War? This matter, Shimura Danzo had a clear memory of. Shimura Danzo had once specifically sent a team from the route to help recover Uchiha Bito's body, to prevent the unique Sharingan Kekkai Genkai of Konoha from falling into the wrong hands. However, that team of root ninjas found nothing. Failing in that attempt, Shimura Danzo then planned to help recover the Sharingan that Uchiha Bito had given to Hatake Kakashi, again to prevent the unique Sharingan Kekkai Genkai from being lost. That plan also failed. Hatake Kakashi saw it with his own eyes. Akahara Kagura showed no respect for Hatake Kakashi and continued, "The third Hokage also knows about this Uchiha Bito, has even awakened with release, and his Sharingan possesses a strange ability to avoid all attacks. That is the Mangekyo Sharingan." Shimura Danzo's heart raced as he immediately understood that Uchiha Bito possessed the Mangekyo Sharingan. As someone coveting the Sharingan, Shimura Danzo knew even more about the evolution of the Sharingan than the average Uchiha clan member. The Mangekyo Sharingan. This was something Shimura Danzo could hardly contain himself over. Shimura Danzo looked at Akihara Kagura and spoke solemnly. "You're saying Uchiha Obito, who came back to life, has also awakened with release? Did he also transplant Hashirama's cells?" Only Konoha and Orochimaru possess Hashirama's cells in the entire ninja world. Did you ever see Uchiha Obito when you were with Orochimaru? Could it be Orochimaru who saved him? I remember Orochimaru should not have been at the North Line at the Battle of Canopy Bridge. I have never seen him. Akihara Kagura shook his head, unwilling to let his former boss take the blame. I understand. Shimura Danzo noted that his future work priority was to pursue the traitor Uchiha Obito, who was living outside the village, and to recover the Mangekyo Sharingan. Only then did he turn his attention back to Akihara Kagura. "Continue. What does Hiruzen have to say about this?" "Yes." Akihara Kagura nodded. Continuing, "The third Hokage ordered me and Hatake Kakashi to investigate the whereabouts of Uchiha Obito. First, he asked us to check the Konoha village's archives for information about would release, to see if we could find any traces of Uchiha Obito's appearance. And the result? I found these." Akihara Kagura took out the evidence he had obtained from the Konoha village's archives. Speaking softly, "I suspect that the third Hokage deliberately let me see this evidence. The third Hokage has always believed that I was sent by Lord Danzo for the human experiments involving Hashirama cell transplantation, wanting to make me hate Lord Danzo. Humph! That monkey is always doing such foolish things." Shimura Danzo glanced at the scrolls of evidence, indifferently storing them away in a drawer. "It seems Orochimaru left something behind when he left the Konoha village, but it doesn't matter anymore. As long as we have recovered this evidence, it's fine." Shimura Danzo, squinting his eyes, rarely offered praise. "Kagura, well done. Report any information to me immediately." Shimura Danzo looked at Akihara Kagura with some satisfaction, not minding that the kid had been transferred to the Umbu. He even felt a bit of pride in Kagura's loyalty to him. "Hiruzen will never understand why you couldn't possibly betray me. So, what shall we do about this matter?" Akihara Kagura scratched his head, seemingly troubled. "I am worried that this might arouse their suspicions. They all think that I was sent by Lord Danzo from the orphanage to be used as an experimental subject. To betray Lord Danzo for such a reason, I still remain utterly loyal to Lord Danzo." "Humph." Shimura Danzo coldly cursed. "The fools in the Umbu have already been led astray by Hiruzen. They have forgotten that a ninja who walks in the darkness only needs to execute the tasks assigned by their superiors. They absolutely do not need useless things like emotions. Yes, but I've already aroused suspicion." Akihara Kagura glanced at Shimura Danzo, who seemed somewhat displeased, and continued to bluff. "I can only temporarily claim that I come from the Konoha orphanage, and the director of the orphanage, Yakushi Nono, instructed me to be loyal to Lord Danzo. This barely dispelled their suspicions about me. That method works too." Shimura Danzo nodded in satisfaction to Akihara Kagura, continuing, "I will find a way to confirm this story. By the way, I just heard you say that Hiruzen has instructed you and Kakashi to continue investigating the whereabouts of Uchiha Obito." "Yes." Akihara Kagura nodded, continuing, "Hatake Kakashi has requested the third Hokage to leave the village to scout for traces of Uchiha Obito in the Mist Village. Hatake Kakashi suspects that Uchiha Obito might have defected to the Mist Village overseas." "Just right." Shimura Danzo's eyes sharpened immediately, and he commanded coldly, "Then you continue to investigate Uchiha Obito's whereabouts with Kakashi. Inform me immediately if you find any trace of him. I will arrange for the root members to assist you in passing on the information. Once his trace is found, I will personally rush over to support you." System prompt. New work task. Assist Hatake Kakashi in gathering our intelligence on Uchiha Obito and inform Shimura Danzo of the findings.